to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
I'm a champion. It's crazy, isn't it?
Well, good morning. Welcome to the Detroit Cast with Mike and Jay. How are you, fine sir?
Quite well, thank you. Thank you for having me by again.
Heard you complaining about being a tad chilly, but other than that, you're okay?
Colder down here than it is outside, Mike.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That's what happens in the summer, where it's warmer outside than inside, where the air conditioning is.
And a cave-like down here.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That happens. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. I've got something exciting. Well, a lot of exciting things today, but something exciting to play you guys. I'm interested to get your opinion. I was thinking about a new outgoing message for the show. You guys interested in hearing it?
Outgoing message, like a phone message?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For sure. In case people call us, and we're not able to answer the phone.
Like a voicemail message. Gotcha.
Yeah, an outgoing message. You wanna take a listen to it?
Yeah.
Go ahead, E.
Hello, and welcome to the Detroit Cast, where you too may hear the thing itself. The Detroit Cast is a group of men who like to sit in a room and talk with like-minded men. Hosted by Mike and Jay, we are barely a business and definitely not a religion, but more of a public service institution. Our rules are simple. Optional clothes check, J.O. play, cocksucking, butthole play.
Yeah.
And unless your name is Big E, there is no obnoxious behavior. No poppers, for example. Don't be shy. Smile and add to the fun. The Detroit Cast meets 5 days a week and is available at DetroitCast.com or iTunes or Google Play, for example. We are located at Radio for One Studios in Franklin, Michigan, just outside Detroit. We ask a contribution of whatever you feel we're worth. You may listen while consuming beverages in cans or bottles. Listening in fetish wear is welcome, and creative pecker play and group listening highly encouraged. So tune on in to the Detroit Cast for a show of poetry in motion, where you too may hear or even be the thing itself.
There.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds a little familiar, but
Pretty much says it all.
overall, I think it's done well. I didn't realize that our rules seem to be a little different than personally I remembered them as. Optional clothing check. I was fine with that. But
So there's butthole play? Did I
apparently,
hear that right?
apparently cocksucking and butthole play is welcome with open arms here. That I wasn't aware of, but whatever.
I like it. I like it.
Son of a bitch. E, is there a part two? Play part two. Hey, I had Jerry record that yesterday, and then he called me back to God, this son of a. I love this guy.
Oh yeah,
absolutely love this guy. Go ahead, E.
Hey, Mike, it's Jerry. Woof woof. I hope that the
Woof,
preceding message will be acceptable for you. I got kind of fluffy there around the podcast business, but I think the people will just get a little chuckle and say, oh, well. So that's it, unless you think I have to do it over. So that's, that's my message for now. I hope it will be useful, and that's my message. Woof woof.
awesome.
Woof woof.
What is this woof woof?
He either meows or woofs at you.
Or coos?
Or coos. I've heard him coo as well.
Coo.
He meowed at me on the phone the other day when I talked to him. He said goodbye with a meow.
Yeah, his personal message, we've called him a few times, and it's like either woof, coo, or meow.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Is that a thing? Like, should we know what that is? E, should we know what that is? Is it a gay thing?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is, but
The dude's classic.
yeah, he calls himself the Dogter, like
Dogter.
like Dogter, Dogter. Like I'm a doctor. So obviously there's a woof woof play in with dog, So I don't know, but God love him. Anyways, I hope
Well, that's all right.
agreed. I still want to bring that dude to town.
Oof,
I think it'd be
great.
fun, right?
Yeah.
Bring Jerry to town. E, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't like E. We'll have to keep him away from E.
Yeah.
E away from him.
He's an acquired taste, though. I think E could grow on him. He only got a day with him.
Yeah.
Not even like an hour.
Yeah, give it some time. Give it some time. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. And lot to get to today. Cosby back in the news.
Mm-hmm. Some transcripts were released, I guess, or
yeah, I
just hitting the news right now.
Yeah, I guess they're supposed to make a determination about his trial, whether or not it proceeds today, even. And so some things were released yesterday. So we'll get into that in a little bit. God, I'm dying to see that new Wiener documentary.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't
Anthony
wait to see
Weiner,
that.
of course. Not just Wieners.
Yeah. Well, yeah, not yeah, exactly. Well, that's all right. Nothing wrong with a Wiener documentary, but yeah, Huma, Clinton's aide. So we'll watch the trailer for it here coming up in a few minutes. But I suppose we should start with Freddie Gray in Baltimore. I got to be honest, man. I was disappointed. I thought the town was going to light up, and we were going to get breaking news reports that Don Lemon was on the ground in Baltimore. He was at ground zero.
Well, there's still 5 more to be tried, right?
Yeah, but this is such a.
I think if you're a serious trial watcher, you're probably aware that this guy was kind of an ancillary dude that probably wasn't totally expected to be convicted.
What we're talking about is Officer Edward Narrow, who was cleared of assault charges yesterday in the death of Freddie Gray and also reckless endangerment. Plainclothes officers came and hugged him. He was crying in court. He was the guy.
Yeah, review some of the facts of this one, if you would.
Well, he was one of the bike cops that initially stopped Freddie Gray, and then
I wonder if bike cops hate being bike cops.
I've often wondered that because they got to wear the helmet and the little tracksuity thing.
Yeah,
some of them
shorts.
Some of them can kind of look like badasses. I've seen some of them in their
got
uniform.
Big biceps.
Yes,
kind of the tight deal. Yeah,
that cop.
Yeah,
that cop can pull it off. But
others can look just kind of chunky,
like those guys. Look at that picture there.
Yeah, Officer Garrett Miller.
Yeah, Garrett Miller and Officer Narrow there are the ones that you'll see in all the Freddie Gray videos of the cops with the half yellow, half black, skin tight shirts on.
Yeah, again, they too want to look like they're in the Tour de France, apparently.
Yeah,
wearing the yellow jersey.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, small group of protesters gathered outside the courthouse as the city's prepared for a reaction to the verdict. Judge Barry Williams was presiding and shit. Which is weird. I think we've discussed that before, but
yeah, I thought he was down in Missouri doing a one-man show.
Yeah,
right, kind of a singing, dancing.
Yeah,
thing.
I can't remember what that was. A Barry Brady something or other.
Yeah, apparently he's on the bench in Baltimore though.
Yeah, and he's African American, and well respected too. Freddie Gray's family's attorney, Billy Murphy, said in a statement he believed the verdict was fair and correct, which absolutely threw me for a loop, and I think it threw everybody else for a loop too. Because this is one of those civil rights lawyers that just thinks the black race is fucked across the board. He strikes me as one of these guys.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not so much as Crump. Benjamin Crump is really bad. Like he's right up there with Sharpton and shit like that, where it's just an injustice. No matter what's done, it's an injustice to our people. But Billy Murphy was, walking out of the courthouse and gave a statement, and I was just like, "What? I didn't see that coming." I don't know what his angle is. I know he's up to something. There's some sort of foolery. There's wool being pulled here, and I don't know what his end game is.
Shenanigans. Definitely
shenanigans. But go ahead, E, if you got him on the street there. Now, this is the family of Freddie Gray's attorney. Keep that in mind.
But the family's previous position has been, and I have no doubt that they will maintain it, that as long as all of the evidence is heard, as long as all of the law is properly considered, and as long as this was a fair process, then justice was done. And to the black citizens in Baltimore, you ought to be proud that such an accomplished jurist with a background in prosecuting corrupt cops had the courage to go against public opinion and render a decision that he and he alone believed was just under the circumstances. You can't ask for more than that, nor should we ask for more than that.
And your message to the
It does sound strangely reasonable.
Something he's up to something. I just don't know what it is yet, but he's up to something.
Avoid the boy who cried wolf kind of thing. If he keeps crying it, and then he's not going to get the attention when it's really the big one. Is there one guy that they really want convicted here?
I don't know. Well,
because I think the one guy who may be most at fault is the black
guy. Is that Caesar Goodson, the driver?
Yes.
Yeah, Officer Caesar Goodson. I'm sure that he was the driver. Yeah, that's the interesting part in this is you've got a black judge, and you've got like half the people that they've brought charges against are black. So it's one of those like it's just kind of puts them in a weird position, but you would have think they would have wanted a sacrificial lamb. You know, this guy can't look any whiter as a cop.
No, he can't.
And you know, we've long learned that the facts of the matter don't really matter. That like the facts in a case don't really matter. You know, the public is just going to be outraged no matter what.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Did a move like this with the family saying something? Now the family did get $6.5 million not long ago. So, you know, maybe they've moved long out of Baltimore. They're not so much worried about the.
They didn't even know the bird cabin. They're just on the beach.
Trasta going on and shit. Really.
Sipping
let me know how that plays out. That's nice. Yeah, they're having margaritas somewhere on a coast somewhere.
Right, just like, oh.
They're in Nantucket now.
Someone told them, oh.
Yeah. I still have all the protesters though. They're pissed that this guy was let go, found not guilty, but they would have loved to enforce a guilty verdict and all that comes with it, right?
Sure.
So the system is great if it goes your way, but it's bullshit and corrupt if it doesn't.
Right. It's the way it goes. Nero said he was relieved that the nightmare was almost over, but he's still going to be on active desk duty while the other officers face their trials. He dropped his head and started crying in his hand. So he's the guy, though, that waived his right to a jury trial, was just like, fuck it. Throw me in front of the judge. Let me plead my case in front of the judge. One-on-one, no jury of 12. And so his came up first. He was the second officer to face
first one was hung jury. Exactly.
Officer Bill Porter there, William Porter. He had a hung jury at the end of last year. He'll be retried later this year. It looks like the one that's up next is it possible that they would give the big one away now?
Is it Caesar?
I think they're going Caesar Gooden. It's expected to start in a couple weeks. I mean, what is this, a Tarantino plot twist where they're going to show us the end of the movie first? That's weird. Following the announcement, Stephanie Rawlings Blake, our favorite mayor of Baltimore, said the city is prepared to respond to any disturbance. She said the city will protect neighborhoods, businesses, and residents.
She's not giving people their space to vent.
Right? Isn't that what we learned last time?
Last time.
We needed to give the citizens of Baltimore some space to blow off some steam, which we saw that steam was blown off at places like CVS.
She literally said that, didn't she? Blow off steam.
Something like that. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, she says she's asking residents to be patient and allow the process to come to a conclusion. This is our American system of justice, and officers must be afforded the same justice system as every other citizen. Anyway, so yeah, if you're looking at the timeline of this, it's interesting to think back of where this has all come and gone. April 12th of last year was when Freddie Gray was arrested. He died a week later in the hospital. The Department of Justice 2 days later opened a civil rights investigation. And so it's not like this was one of those that was buried.
Right.
You know, I mean, this is
and it took protests to shine light on it.
Right.
No,
like
immediately taken
some of the Chicago stuff where Rahm Emanuel is facing, that video wasn't made public for a year and a half, and now there's outrage, and you can at least see where people are like, yeah, dude, that's kind of shitty that this has been buried, and now but anyway, 4 days later is when the peaceful march downtown happened, and then some people started smashing police car windows, storefronts. And remember the Red Sox game? They were like, yeah, stay in Oriole Park in Camden Yards.
Yeah.
Like, don't even leave. We don't want you on the streets. That was just a few days later. 2 days after that, the family met with religious and political leaders, and they all attended the funeral together. In the afternoon, that's when the real fun started. The lid came off. I mean, it was New Year's, essentially, and the rioting, looting, and arson broke out. continued through the night. More than 200 people were arrested. The National Guard was called in, if you remember.
CBS took the brunt.
Oh boy, did they ever! And those, remember all the drugs that were stolen? I mean, the people went in there and they knew, we're looking for perks, we're looking for oxys, we're looking for Vikes, we're looking for fentanyl patches. That's it. Fuck everything else. And they cleaned that out, and they loaded so many goddamn illicit drugs onto the streets that week. Oh, it was
When, of
crazy.
course, the iconic video of the minivan rolling up to the mall.
Oh. It hadn't even come to a stop yet. That door sliding open.
People just running out
with full racks.
Wasn't there a rack of like
yes.
I mean, with everything from like baby to quad XL.
Yes.
It's like, fuck it, man.
all
Whatever.
the same print. Just the whole rack into the van.
There must have been they must have had to get out of this region to
Yeah.
make them profit on that, because there
shit, yeah.
there
Yeah, how do
was
you
so
move
much product in the area at that point.
Can I
then.
interest you in a triple XL and large? Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome video to watch. What do they do with? I mean, do they even bother going after that? Or they just write that off as a loss? I mean, it feels like there's bigger shit to worry about than a rack full of clothes. But man, was that video awesome to watch? Seeing how happy the community was. I mean, the community came
Considering
together.
it was such a bad situation, of course.
It was tough, but seeing it was like an announcement went out like, yeah, we've breached the mall. And they all just start pulling up. I mean, squealing tires and doors whipping open. It was awesome.
Do you remember that was when too they were like they suggested they were going to strongly enforce a curfew?
Oh yeah,
just to stop the looting, and we're like, oh, as if these people in the mall are like, we got 10 minutes, guys. We got
curfew kicks in. So Mosby announced charges then on May 1st. They also played that baseball game without fans. Remember that?
Right, yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
That was the White Sox Orioles game, which was so weird to watch. We had it on that day, and we're watching it with no fans in the stadium. So that's when she announced charges May 1st. A couple days later, no one is above the law. And but then September 8th, Mayor Rawlings announced, well, we've reached a tentative agreement with the family, $6.4 million, which leads us to yesterday. So anyway.
Hey, spring's upon us, and our friends at Zotford and Holly want to celebrate the season with a smoking hot deal for all TDC listeners. Right now, and only at Zotford, you can lease a brand new 16 Ford Escape for only $188 per month for 24 months with zero cash due at signing. There's no better time than the present to dump your busted-out, beat-down hoopty and upgrade to a sweet new Ford Escape with our friends at Zotford. Surf their stunning deals and massive inventory at Zotford.com.
See, Trump for the first time surpassed Hillary Clinton in the famed Real Clear Politics average of national polls, leading by 0.2% now.
Yeah, he's got 5 months to ruin it, though. Don't worry.
Yeah, so does she, though. It's funny. They're both so hated. Like, every time I think, like, there's no way Trump could pull this off. He's just too hated. It's like, well, she's equally hated. It's the weirdest situation. It's so weird. I've never seen anything where both
nobody has. They say that, that's the big story this week about how actually hated both of these are.
I mean, like 60% of people hate both of them.
Bernie's
equally.
continued involvement is just bringing her down too, because
you
people
think so?
are resenting her more and more as they hear like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the DNC chair, is dicking around and favoring Hillary, and so Bernie's pissed off.
Yeah.
Bernie's throwing money behind her competitor in her congressional district.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard he's down to his last $6 million or something. I heard that the other day.
He's going down swinging.
I will not go down without a fight.
Yeah.
Did you see?
What?
Did you see? Did you watch Saturday Night Live?
You know what? I haven't. I know it was their season finale, and so I know Larry made an appearance. Was it good?
Yeah.
It was him sitting at a bar, right?
Right, with
at
Hillary.
closing time, and the bartender, it's time. Hey, buddy, it's time to go. I'm not leaving.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm staying here for the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I saw a quick clip of it, but yeah, I haven't watched the episode yet. They usually do a good job with those finale ones, season finales.
That's actually all I
premieres.
watched, to be honest. But.
Yeah. So this is a national average of 5 different polls is where they're getting this famed real poll numbers. Of the 5 polls used to create the average, Trump was the leader in 3 of them. So the Fox poll from last week was the one that started this. That had the Donald leading. Last month's Fox News poll had Clinton leading the Donald by 7 points. The next poll giving Trump an edge was the Rasmussen report. Rasmussen's survey was released last week, shows Trump 5 points ahead of Clinton, 42-37. ABC Washington Post poll had the billionaire ahead in a survey that dropped yesterday. He was up by 2 points in that one, 46-44. Two other polls showed Clinton ahead. CBS News, New York Times had her holding a 6-point lead, and the NBC Wall Street Journal came out yesterday and had Clinton ahead by 3 points. So before that, everybody was hugely pointing to Clinton, like runaway win.
Still not totally optimistic. You've got 5 months for him to be a complete buffoon and do something ridiculous and stupid, something more that people actually latch on to and say, all right, that's enough. And then secondly,
do you really think that's going to happen?
It's the damn Electoral College, dude. I mean, you can have popular vote, but she could win in a landslide depending on what states go for her.
What?
I just heard her again. I don't know.
Or vice versa, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, if he takes states like Michigan, Pennsylvania, Florida.
I think it's more likely that he steals a Michigan, Ohio, a Pennsylvania, New York than her.
He's got a chance.
Just based on her speaking, I know it's like a cliche to keep making fun of that, but I heard her again yesterday on CNN or something.
So did I. Yeah.
Giving that speech. She was wearing the purple thing, I think, or something. Or and I'm just like, I cannot listen to that.
The little Nana outfit, that shirt dress thing.
Just talking like this.
And they've talked to her about that. And I think she's decided, fuck it, I am woman, hear me roar. And she's going that route and just owning it. But there have absolutely been handlers who are like, Hillary,
there has to be.
We have to rein this in.
You sound like a human? Is it possible that you could sound like a human being?
It's so bad. Like someone got it into her head that she needs to project and be more political, be a politician and speak to the people. And like, it's so like every time she gets even mildly excited.
That's the thing.
It's just awkward. It's weird. It's not presidential. It's just, it's shitty. But I'm so looking forward to this because I know we knew that she was going to be involved in this. If you remember early on, we were like, there's no way Trump gets to the nomination. It's just like at some point we just didn't see that as a possibility. Nobody did. Outside of Jeffrey Lord, nobody on the planet saw that Trump.
Well, they did at various times, and we did at various times talk about it's very possible.
Well, we got on
but you're
early,
talking about like the very day he opens up as a candidate. Of course, nobody thought that.
Nobody did. Nobody.
But nobody can do what I do.
But here we are, and it's just put it in this weird spot because Trump yesterday released a video. I don't know if you have this. He sent out an Instagram, and in it he's basically hitting her about protecting women. Are you really protecting women? He tweeted along with a link to a short video featuring voices of two of Bill's sexual assault accusers, Juanita Broderick and Kathleen Willey.
Yeah.
One of which accused him of rape, flat out rape. Mm-hmm. There he's with a cigar too, an ode to Monica Lewinsky, who, if you remember, Bill was stuffing a cigar in Monica Lewinsky, his 21-year-old intern, by the way,
in the Oval Office.
In the Oval Office. The 15-second video also includes, let's see here, Broderick accused Clinton of raping her in a motel room when he was the Attorney General of Arkansas. Willie was has charged that he groped and fondled her titties while in the Oval Office. Hillary later said, I don't feel compelled to defend my husband's honor by responding. I bet you don't, Hillary. A longer video might have been even more damning. Let's see what the video says here. I think it's only like 15 seconds.
This one's like 30.
I think they play it twice.
No woman should be subjected to it. It was an assault.
He starts to ride on my top lip, and I try to pull away from him.
Here we go again. Hillary laugh. That's damning. What she says there is he bit on my top lip.
That's what I thought she said.
Yeah.
Gross. Dude, I love that Trump is hitting them like this though, because it's like what every man wants to happen. But if this were just regular Joe Schmo, as we've seen, Jeb Bush, Mitt Romney, they wouldn't go there. They just talk about the policies and what Madam Secretary, how she differs from. I don't want to go there, you know. But Trump, hell yeah, open it up, man.
Bring it on. And we knew early on too, this is going to be, and it's only going to get worse. Like we haven't even started yet, which is why this is so utterly intriguing to people like us. It's like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a shit. What does he have to lose at this point?
No, what would happen under a normal candidate is some surrogate would do that, and then he'd have to denounce that.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no
reason to go there. We want to talk about policies and why my policy is better.
We want to keep this campaign above the fray. We don't want to go down into the mud and play this game of dirty politics. I'm here to talk about the issues that affect the citizens of this great country that I love. God bless you, and God bless this great state of great country we live in, America. Like,
yeah, the American people deserve better.
They deserve better. Trump's like, fuck it. He was raping bitches with cigars. We all know it. It's the giant elephant in the room, and I'm bringing it up. Good for him. They say a longer video might have been more damning. A lot of people won't remember this, but Broderick told NBC immediately after the words that she spoke on that video there that he then forced me on the bed, and I was just very frightened. I tried to get away from him. I told him no, that I didn't want this to happen, but he wouldn't listen to me. It was real panicky situation. I was even to the point where I was getting very noisy, yelling, please stop. That's when he pressed down on my right shoulder, and he would bite my lip. When everything was over with, he got up, straightened himself. I was crying at the moment, and he walks over to the door, and he calmly puts on his sunglasses, and before he goes out the door, he says, "You better put some ice on that."
Oof.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Throws his big crooked crank in there and then leaves.
It was Ben. Which one said that? Was that
that one
Paula
with the big
Jones?
nose? Yeah, Paula Jones.
Hook-nosed Paula Jones. What did his penis look like? It was Ben. Which is where the bent boing
Didn't
sound
she
effect
end up
came from.
fighting Tanya Hardin in a celebrity death match or some shit? Not celebrity death, but an actual boxing match.
Tanya Harding?
No, they had
Tanya
celebrity.
Harding.
They had celebrity of boxing on Fox.
Yeah,
there
right.
Which was awesome.
I think Paula Jones got her ass kicked by somebody. I think it was Tanya Harding.
Might have been Tanya Harding. Might have been. You know who else? Screech put a pounding on what's his name too.
Yeah,
Todd Bridges.
No, Todd Bridges whooped some ass. No, Screech beat the shit out of one of the who was it? Ron or Rob? He was in the
you're
Welcome
right,
Back Kotter show. He was one of the guys in the Welcome Back Kotter show.
Oh, Horseshack?
Maybe Horseshack.
He beat up Horseshack?
I think he kicked
You had
the
a
tar out of
Screech
him.
v. Horseshack match?
I think so. What?
Paleo?
Ron?
Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, something like that. Polio or
Polio? Diamond versus Polio?
Mr. Carter.
Yeah.
Didn't he laugh like didn't he?
Yeah, the big E screech.
Yeah, Tanya Harding versus Paula Jones.
Oh, and what I remember, Tanya just got a couple punches in, and Paula's face was like, "What am I doing here?"
Yeah.
God, that was
like full on boxing too.
I know.
Big old fat gloves, but full on boxing.
Willie said in a Fox News interview that Hillary Clinton claims to be and wants us to think she's a champion of women's rights. She's a women's advocate. She's a feminist. But in reality, she has enabled this behavior for over 30 years. This started way before they got married. The notion of Hillary as enabling her husband's conquests at the expense of a series of victims gained new currency when Broderick told a radio interview last November that she tried to, Hillary approached her at an Arkansas political fundraiser. Hillary said to her, "I just want you to know how much Bill and I appreciate the things you do for him," implying a thank you for her weeks of silence. I just stood there. I was sort of, shell-shocked. She said, "Do you understand everything you do?" She tried to take a hold of my hand, and I left. I told the girls, "I can't take this. I'm leaving." So I left. What really went through my mind at the time was she knew. She's covering it up, and she expects me to do the very same. Clinton floated another video last September where she insists Americans should reflexively side with young women on college campuses who accuse male students of sexual assault.
Is that right?
And that's where all of this comes back
That's
to.
why it's relevant.
That's why it's relevant. That's the point that all these talking
Not just
heads,
mudslinging.
nobody wants to discuss this shit. Hillary put out stuff like this. You have the right to be heard. You have the right to be believed. We're with you. She addressed that to every survivor of sexual assault. Meanwhile, you're living with a guy and helping him cover up all these sexual assaults for years. This has been going on for decades.
And she came out and did exactly the opposite of what she's saying should happen to college rape victims.
Yeah.
She slammed them. She sought to destroy these women.
Yes. Yep.
It's relevant.
Silence them. That's precisely why it's relevant in this thing. I'm tired of watching people discuss this like, oh, this is
20 years ago.
Vast right-wing conspiracy. Here we go again. Those are Hillary's words.
As if Trump is part of a vast right-wing conspiracy.
Right.
He is anything but.
Yes. But that was always her way of sidestepping this. It's like, oh, this just here we go again with the vast right-wing conspiracy. I would expect nothing less from those people. So it's only going to get worse. I can't wait. I love it. I just love it. But the more I see these people talking about this shit, there was one woman that really pissed me off of the weekend. I'll try to remember what she said, but anyways, it's going to be fun.
Hey, this segment's brought to you by Mayer and Company Accountants. If you dread, I don't know, if you're like Mike, Italian film festivals, if you dread shit like that,
sure.
Did you finish that out?
Man, whatever happened with that?
It's this month still, isn't it?
No, I think it's done.
You only went to the one weekend?
No, dude, I went to 3 weekends.
Oh, wow.
Was that April or May?
April, I think.
Okay, so the entirety of that month
When's
was.
When's the Ann Arbor Art Festival coming up too? That's right
That's
around
in the middle
corner,
of summer. I remember being
festival?
hot as shit standing in Ann Arbor.
You were?
Around. Oh, I remember it just being sweltering.
Yeah,
walking around the Ann Arbor.
It seems
Art
like we're
Fest.
getting around the hipster festival season.
It does.
Plenty of times.
Arts Beats and Eats. Shouldn't that be coming up?
Well, that's Labor Day.
August. Yeah,
that's the end of the summer. What's the
There's a Ferndale Festival. That's around there's a lot of
What
August.
was the one I went
There's a
to
lot
in Royal Oak last year? Was that Arts Beats and Eats? That's moved now from Pontiac to Royal Oak.
Yes.
But I thought there was another one in Royal Oak.
I don't know.
There probably is.
Well, if you dread bookkeeping and accounting for your business as much as you dread Italian film festivals, let Kyle Mayer handle it all for you. Kyle's a pro who you can trust, so spend more time on your core business and leave those awful, annoying accounting and bookkeeping tasks to Kyle. Call him today, 248-521-0016. Tell him the Detroit Cast sent you. Kyle will give you 10% off.
I cannot wait till the Wiener documentary comes out. Can't wait.
Anthony Weiner.
Yeah, Carlos Danger. People may remember him as Carlos Danger.
Kick-ass. The husband of Huma
Abedin?
Yes.
Who is absolutely front and center, top aide to Hillary
Clinton's favorite scissor.
Yeah. There's something going on. You have been convinced for a long time that something is up with Huma Abedin.
If there's not a sexual relationship between the two, there's an emotional bond.
Yeah.
That cannot be broken.
There's definitely something weird. We've heard about this documentary. It was just one of those where you're like, nah, there's no way. There's no way that while he was going through Anthony Weiner, does anybody not know who Anthony Weiner is? The New York politician who was sending his dick pic out to basically young chicks everywhere, and
got caught, then did it again.
Got caught, and in typical politician fashion, I've met with community leaders and
religious.
My
leaders.
wife and his poor wife Huma,
poor wife,
is stuck standing there looking like an asshole, going, "Oh my god, this guy is showing his dick to teenagers." Fuck.
Thinking, damn, I thought I was getting into this, political power couple here, and I picked the wrong guy.
And you were. And she was. Yeah. If he can keep his dick in his pants for 5 minutes, they are. He's running for mayor of New York. I mean,
he's congressman at the time.
He's a congressman at the time. Yeah, he later ran for mayor of New York.
As he tried to rehabilitate.
And she's with Hillary this whole time. I mean, this is the budding. They've got a young child. It looks like the perfect political couple, and his dick
they're on their way
is getting him in trouble. So when he gets caught in all this, then it comes out that he was like, well, I can't use my name. People could out me. So I'll go with Carlos Danger, and started sexting chicks.
Second only to Ron Mexico.
It's right up there, man. But meanwhile, there was a documentary film crew following him for his run and re-election, or when he was running for mayor of New York.
Yeah.
And while all this shit blew up in his face, this documentary crew is there filming. They have 400 hours of this absolute inside behind the scenes look at the total destruction of a campaign.
Yeah. They're like, well, that took a different turn.
And the guys that were filming this are like, I can't believe he's still letting us be here. Like, what the fuck? we're supposed to be following this guy as he runs for mayor of New York.
Redemption story.
Total redemption story. Feel good story. Here's the comeback of a lifetime.
Did
this
he
guy's,
commission this whole thing?
I don't know.
Or did the DNC? Did somebody in power?
I'm not sure, but it's getting this film is getting rave reviews. It won at Sundance, and I guess it screened really well over the weekend in New York and Los Angeles. It won't be available to us until I think October.
Well, to the public, how do we get a copy, Mike, as media members?
We might be able to. E, can we look into that?
Oh, we're putting E on this?
Yeah. Well, we can.
Can you give us, please, copy of Wiener? We want to see Wieners. Wiener.
Yeah, maybe we should handle that ourselves.
Maybe we could construct an appropriate email.
Yeah. The film's director, Kriegman, what's his name? That's his last name, but anyway, he was saying
go with Tim Kriegman.
I like that. Tim Kriegman.
Kriegman?
Timothy Kriegman.
Timothy Paul Kriegman.
How about Josh?
All right. Okay.
Doesn't sound as good as Timothy, but all right. Josh Kriegman told the New York Post that Wiener and Abedin had yet to see the finished film. We've offered to show it to them, but they still haven't seen it. It's getting a 91.
I don't want to replay that nightmare. I lived it.
Yeah. I wonder what.
Would you want to see it?
Well, if you're going to let the crew still be there and film, you would think this would be a 10-minute documentary from like him walking through Manhattan, waving to people and kissing a few babies to a picture of his dick being sent to a 20-year-old. And then the film's over. Like, oh, this is where Carlos Danger. And then they just have script,
Yeah.
At this point, he was blah, 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 blah. And we were booted from recording.
No.
But letting him be there, maybe he does want to see it. I mean, obviously his ego is huge. Huma can't be thrilled with it, though.
She can't be. Huma cannot be thrilled by this.
Yeah.
But what better mentor to have her move through this issue, right?
Yeah.
Her best friend Hill.
Thank God she's got that Hillary pillow to lay herself down on at night. You want to see the trailer for it?
Yes, please.
Go ahead, E.
Why are they filming you?
I don't know. I most of the time I don't know why they're filming.
Are you somebody I'm supposed to know?
It's Republicans wrapping their arms around Republicans rather than doing the right thing on behalf of the heroes.
It was an absolute pleasure to see a Democrat not cowering.
Married to one of Hillary Clinton's closest advisors.
You never back down from anybody.
A photo of an anonymous man's bulging underwear
was tweeted from Congressman Wiener's account.
Today I'm announcing my resignation from Congress.
Best documentary.
The punchline is true about me. I did the dumb thing, but I did a lot of other things too.
Oh, he's so odd looking too.
Yeah.
Running for mayor was the straightest line to clean up the mess that I had made.
This is Anthony Weiner call. Yes, I'm at Anthony Weiner, running for mayor.
Why do you think you deserve the second chance?
I didn't want to answer. I'm giving you the answer.
I thought you were thinking about it. I thought
No,
you were
I'm
trying
talking
to
words.
What I'm going to try to talk about is the issues facing New York City.
Just a quick optics thing. You will look happy.
Don't push up, Anthony. Show it to me again. Oh my God.
I can't believe I gave the press the finger.
How many women were there? Can you remember?
What I would like to talk about is housing in the Bronx. Any questions about that?
Why should we trust our judgment?
We're going to try to look like we're holding together as a group. I am profoundly sorry. And for that, I am profoundly sorry.
Practicing.
Does the wife's absence say anything?
What is wrong with you?
What was he so afraid of?
Your brother said that your father never hugged you.
Do you believe you're suffering from any sort of addiction?
What are you, the referee over there?
We are staying calm and managing the situation.
You're a real scumbag, Anthony.
Takes one to know one, jackass. Why didn't he just walk?
There's no chance to win anymore.
Thought it was going pretty well.
It's really apocalyptic right now. But at a certain point, you've got to say, look, I don't quit.
Oh, I want to see Wiener.
Doing a documentary on my scandal. Hi.
I want to see Wiener.
Oh, I can't wait.
God, he's so odd looking. I guess I didn't appreciate that.
They're saying that he is goofy looking. He thinks he's hot though.
Yeah.
Like if you remember, he had pictures of his like 6-pack
right
with his dick. Yeah, I guess the behind the scenes, the Hillary campaign is really nervous about the release of this film and its timing with the November elections, this thing coming out premiering in October. Could it make them kind of likable though? I mean, is there a chance that I mean, this is the strangest political season ever.
Yeah.
So
we have to get a copy of that.
Yeah. I want to see it now. Let's get on that. We talked earlier about Freddie Gray and the cops roughing him up, and I've been accused over the last few years of being insensitive to being too pro cop, and especially if it's a white cop on a black guy, and I don't seem to see that side. And been accused of that, Jay. I don't know if you're aware of that.
I am aware of that. Yeah.
Well, there was a
you've been accused by an individual right in this.
I've been accused by I think most people in the room, especially the liberal.
I'll go on record as accusing you of that too.
From time to time, I've been guilty of that. Yeah, shit stir. I'm accused of being
sure.
Anyway, there's a mother of two on a luxury family vacation in North Carolina who was pinned to the ground and shackled the arms and legs. She's white, and I'm still siding with the cops. I just want to make that
kicking and screaming. What's going on?
Yeah, she allowed her 11-year-old son to drive a golf cart back to their $1,000 a night cottage on this little island, where just golf carts are run. But it's funny, whenever people get in trouble, you hear the same things. It doesn't matter if they're black or white. Like their version of events just doesn't add up to me. I don't see things going this way. Her name is Julie Mall. She's from Charlotte. She's accused of being intoxicated at the time of the incident on Bald Head Island. And her family had been vacationing for years on the island. She says she allowed her son to drive the cart the 2 blocks back to their cottage when suddenly a police golf cart with flashing lights pulled them over.
Really? That's the community we're in?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Inside the cart at the time was Mall's husband, Scott, their 11-year-old son, Josh, their daughter, Erin, her niece, and their golden retriever, Rocket. Hi, Rocket. Look at it, poops. Immediately, he started berating us. How old is this kid? Are you guys drunk? I could write you up for child abuse. She maintained she had just 1 glass of wine at dinner. Sure you did. She told her niece to take the children home because her son had started crying. Once her niece and children were gone, she approached the officer. I said, "You ought to be ashamed of yourself." And I stuck my finger in his face.
Shame.
No. We don't want to shame anybody. We don't want to put anybody on the spot. If it looks funny, we go over and say, mm-mm.
When a group of, so the officer calls for backup because he's got this idiot drunk in his face going, "Shame on you."
What a cush job. Think about that. Like, of all the places on the planet to be a cop, man.
Yeah.
Bald Head Island, named after E, by the way. Cruising around in a freaking golf cart
with lights on it and everything.
Pulling people over for drunk driving and other golf carts.
Talk about a slow follow. I mean, how fast are you going in a golf cart when you're tracking someone? Do you think they take the governor off the cop one?
They must.
So you can whip around.
Overtake them.
Yeah. I mean, if you have to, if you get into an all-out pursuit on golf carts, you need to be able to
to win that battle, yeah.
So he radios for backup when a group of other officers arrived. He said, "You need to go back to your golf cart or I'm going to cuff you." He lunged at me, twisting my arm behind my back. I'm hysterical. I've never been that scared of anything in all my life. As if that's what the cop said. You need to go back to your golf cart or I'm going to cuff you.
And then
he lunged at me. Like right then, that's what you hear in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Like I simply went up to the officer. I said, "Sir, what can I do to ease the tension in this room?" And he just threw me out of the ground and beat me to submission. It's like,
severed my spinal cord.
Something sounds amiss there.
Well, especially in this context, because of what we just described, the cush ass nature of this guy's job. You think he wants to risk that? Like, dude,
yeah,
he's driving a freaking cop golf cart.
Yeah, and one of the parties is out drinking as they're on vacation, and one's at work. You know what I mean? Like
one of them is protecting and serving. Right?
Absolutely.
In his golf cart.
Scott Hall, the husband, there in his Callahan Auto Parts. Is that a Tommy Boy reference?
I'm assuming it must be.
Isn't that what Tommy
that's
Callahan,
what I'm saying.
his dad owned Callahan Auto
Normcore from head to toe.
Scott's first instinct was to film what was happening to his wife. You can be seen kicking and screaming. When I watched this video, this is the definition of the difference between men and women. You know, when you see a guy or you see a chick and her mugshot is just like you see like streaks coming down her cheek. You know, she's been sobbing. Oh, look at that. She's been sobbing all night. And dudes are just like, yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, bring it on. Get my good side. You know, this is text. Like no guy
would react like this.
Can react like this to being arrested. Her husband should turn in his card too, his man card too, because the husband sounds kind of gay to me as well. But go ahead and play.
So he's filming his wife on the ground.
Yeah, and the initial takedown has already happened.
Dude!
There's Rocket the dog. Yep.
Dude!
Proops wants to help.
Yeah, What is this guy doing? What is this guy doing? What is he doing? Oh my God! Yeah. What is this guy doing? This is guy.
Place her under arrest is what he's doing.
What is going on? What is going on?
Yeah, look at Rocket.
Oh my God, guys!
Take her stuff, please.
Imagine a guy reacting like that, being dragged.
Right.
You broke my wrist.
Yeah, handcuffs hurt, don't they?
Yeah.
Don't want to be cuffed.
Meant to be uncomfortable.
Rocket, come here. Rocket, come here. What is going on, guys? Can somebody explain this? What's going on? Get up. Can somebody
What's going on?
Hey, can you explain it?
Someone explain this.
This is the whitest family ever. Pulled over in their golf cart. Their purebred golden retriever. Rocket, come here.
Rocket, sweetheart, get over here.
Heel, boy, heel.
My God, guys, can someone explain to me what's going on here? What happened? Please, someone explain what's going on here.
He's filming the arrest on his iPhone 8 prototype. It's ridiculous.
Oh my God, she was shackled at the arms and legs. Yeah, because she was acting like an asshole. And they hog-tied her, which is awesome. Sorry, sweetheart. Even you
comply,
Mrs. White. Whitest white person on the planet. Even you can be hog-tied like an animal. She's just screaming bloody murder. You would think they were actually in the commission of a murder when she was being shackled.
Can you imagine the dismay of all the people in the gated community?
Oh yeah,
they hear the screams.
What they did though, they took her to the police station. She was charged with resisting a public officer, intoxicated, disruptive behavior, and misdemeanor child abuse. They threw that in for good measure because they were letting the child drive the golf cart.
Come on.
They probably would have just let her carry on with their night if she wasn't such a cunt.
Yeah.
Shame on you! I'm gonna stick my drunken finger in your face, officer.
You cunt!
Police have not commented. However, they said that Julie and Scott were intoxicated when their cart was pulled over, being driven by this underage driver. Julie was agitated and loud, aka a cunt. I want to go on record and say that Miss Hall was actually a cunt at the scene of the crime, and so that's why this all transpired. She was standing in the middle of the street, interfering with passing vehicles and pedestrian traffic. The officer said she refused to move off the road, and so he moved to arrest her. In attempting to secure the custody of the female, she dropped to the ground and began screaming and flailing, refusing to surrender her hands or obey officer commands.
Move out of the thoroughfare, madam.
After being charged, she was escorted off the island.
She was escorted.
They took this bitch. There's a ferry that comes.
Of course there is.
You know,
it's the only way to the island.
Absolutely, it's the only way you're going to get there. Once you're on the island, it's exclusively golf carts.
Yeah.
But if you're going to get to the island, you're ferried over. So they get to the ferry, and there's a whole bunch of people waiting for the next ferry out of town. Oh, every 20 minutes or so, a new ferry comes, and they're like, "Sorry, folks, you're going to have to wait for the next one. We are chucking this cunt off the island." And they made her take her own ferry off the island.
Wow, what a perk walk, man.
Yeah, how about that? Oof. And Bald Head Island is standing by their police department. They're like, yeah, she's kind of a cunt in this situation. We totally stand by them.
Good.
Yeah. And so I don't know if she's allowed back on Bald Head Island or not, but boy, did they toss her.
They were only
lily white
They were only
ass.
vacationing there. They don't own a place. I think he said it's $1,000 a night rental or something.
Yeah. But they're regulars there, though.
Oh, okay.
I guess they're there every year. Bald Head Island has said that it supports how the officers reacted and handled the situation. The village denies any allegation that she was treated anything other than professionally and courteously, as the circumstances would allow. Oh, yeah, that might be the whitest family of all time, by the way. You're right with their.
And I'm going to defer to the judgment of the cops because, again, what cop in their right mind would risk that cush job, right?
Yeah.
You're rolling in a golf cart.
Yeah, that's the dream right there, right? I mean, if you're going to be a cop, I mean, I imagine young guys, they want to get their hands dirty a little bit. They want to get into Baltimore and rough some people up. I mean, that's where you start. That's where I'd want to start. Get in there, crack some skulls. I'm going to make a difference, guy.
Quickly realize, you know what?
Yeah, this is fucked. This is there's no fixing this. And then you want to, I mean, as soon as you can get to Bald Head Island, you want to make that transition.
Yeah.
You know, you either go the detective route or get me on a golf cart. I'm Bald Head Island guy. If you can get to a mall somewhere and on one of those
Segway.
if you can segue into a Segway cop, I see him on the pier in San Francisco. I mean, that looks kind of fun too.
Yeah.
It looks a little gay, but it's fun. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Motorcycle would be fun in the right area. But man, if you can make it.
I wonder how Segway cops are viewed by other cops. I bet it's kind of like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking Segway, man.
Well,
I'm gonna seg you.
Yeah, I know. I think they're still technically cops, but other cops, like if you're in a standard black and white.
And going back to the bike thing too, I wonder if there's like a hierarchy where it's like, fuck you, I'm not on bike duty. Are you kidding me? I'm not doing your damn Segway. But I think the golf cart is set aside as like that's the pinnacle, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no cars allowed. So here's where we are. We got a job to do. And so, all right, dude, we're gonna give you a golf cart with some flashing lights. It's like, yeah, yes. Where do I sign up?
Still get a gun, right?
Oh, I'm hanging out on Paradise Island in a golf cart. Wow. Okay.
Right.
Any cop that's wearing the short shorts though, like you see on Miami Beach,
right?
Do you think cops respect those cops?
Because you have to wear the short shorts.
Well, I've just seen them wear those. Yeah. You know, some cops are in the short.
Yeah, they all kind of look
shorts.
like the shorts like your coaches in high school wore.
Yeah,
the bike shorts.
Yes, the bike ones. Yeah, the bike brand. Hell yes.
Yeah, they come up a little too high on the thigh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Usually there's some meaty thigh packed in them too.
Yeah.
Guy's lifting weights and he's kind of huge. He's got those arms, fucking arms, and those big bulging thighs.
Yeah, I wonder how those
too
guys feel
tight.
about that. I guess it's all relative where you are. I mean, Miami, you're gonna. I'll go patrol the beach. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to walk. Do you really want to walk around in full clothes anyway?
Yeah, but you still have to wear socks and the thing in the shoes.
But you're at Miami Beach and you're looking at hot chicks and you're like, I don't know.
Like I think I'd want those shorts a little longer, a little baggier, and flip flops. Like then we're talking. Now we're talking.
What if you have to give chase?
I know
flip flops.
Well, that's on me.
It'd be nothing worse to run in than flip flops.
Well, you kick them off and you go, but
on your feet.
I know it's not ideal, but neither are wearing those clunky ass cop shoes. Doing that.
Yeah, they look goofy.
I don't know. We've got a lot of cop listeners. Maybe one could let us know how they feel about bike cops,
Segway cops,
beach cops with the short shorts. Do they respect them as members of their community? And then also,
is the golf cart Bald Head Island like the pinnacle of copdom?
Yeah,
I would say yes.
Yeah,
but I'm an outsider. What do I know?
Yeah, I would think it is, but we'll see. Anyway, why don't we take a quick time out, and we mentioned Cosby earlier. We'll give you some more of the details that are coming out as part of the transcript from when he was deposed during the Andrea Constand.
That's really astounding.
I know. We'll give you some of those details next.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break.
Hey, it's Steve Gabarra, the general manager at Zott Ford and Holly. We're closer than you think, and we have deals that do not stink. Zott Ford at I-75 and exit 98 is the only place you can lease the all-new 2016 Ford F-150 Super Crew four-wheel drive for $188 a month. That's correct. Zott Ford has F-150 Super Crews for just $188 per month. Check out our obnoxious deals and massive inventory at ZottFord.com. That's SZOTT.
The Detroit Cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
I'm gonna punch you in the fuck!
All right, welcome back to the Detroit Cast. Mike and Jay.
You know, Miguel, we were talking about cops and Segway cops and golf cart cops, so forth.
Yeah.
We forgot an important one. The equine policeman.
Equine policeman. I think those are respected.
I would think so too.
Yeah. I have a ton of respect for those ones.
Yeah, I'd like to know where they sit on the hierarchy. The equine cop and also maybe the canine cop.
Oh,
how do the Proops cops?
Yeah.
I mean, not the officer himself, but the cop who takes the canine with him. You got to be honest.
I've heard mixed reports about.
Well, this is an observation of mine, anecdotal, obviously,
about female
yes,
canine.
I'm seeing female canine cops, and I'm seeing more and more females atop the equine.
Really?
Yes. And
is that a new trend? I'm not used to seeing females atop the.
I've noticed that
the horse poop cops. So yeah, I don't know.
We'll ask for some reports on how
we can keep it anonymous.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, but if there's, I feel like it's good information to have. Horse cop. How do we forget the horse cop? There's got to be other cops we're forgetting too.
Yeah. You mentioned the motorcycle cop.
Yeah. Anyway, if there's other ones, people can email us. Email at DetroitCast.com. The Air Egypt Air Flight MS 804. The victims, the remains of the first victims, were today described as unrecognizable. Oof, that's not good. Anytime you're talking about claiming a loved one, they say, yeah, unrecognizable is not
best we could do. This is what DNA has resolved as your loved one.
Right. They were taken to Cairo to start the long, painful process of IDing bodies. More than 20 body bags containing parts of corpses recovered from the Mediterranean crash site were brought to the morgue by the Egyptian army at midnight last night. There's no complete body. There's only body parts. They are totally unrecognizable. But it's important for the families to be able to bury their loved ones and be able to visit their grave to help with the mourning process. So I don't know if they each get a scoop. Is that like what is the? How does that go? Oh, they're just like in line. Picture people at a food line with their
walk
cup.
up,
like
ice cream scooper into your
we just kind of
red Solo cup.
We just skim this off the top of the Mediterranean, and
we're big colander.
Yeah, we're pretty sure that one of your loved ones is in at least DNA. Parts of DNA is in this scoop, in this ladle that we gave you. Do you consider yourself lucky if you're one of the ones that gets like a finger or a half a foot or something?
You have to, right? Because it has to be somewhat recognizable, maybe.
Would you have an open casket service and display the finger? Or do you just go closed casket completely?
Do you go casket?
I don't know.
Just set a little
matchbox
up there.
That's awful. That's terrible.
I don't know how these things are done. I don't know.
I don't either. The authorities started taking blood samples from relatives to match results from body parts to identify the victims. So yeah, you don't have, people aren't able to walk up and go, oh my God, I recognize that tattoo. No. It's like, you're not going to recognize a ladle
chunk.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, if they're like, no, we are adamant, this fingernail came from your loved one for sure. We took your blood sample, we melted this nail down, and we know for sure that there's some DNA in there that matches you. So here you go.
This spam-like substance that we ladled off the ocean.
Yeah.
Seems to be your husband. It's grim.
Hundreds of mourners attended memorial services over the weekend for some of the 66 victims, which, of course, the plane crashed last Thursday, right? It was last Thursday.
Yep.
The hunt is now on for the plane's black boxes.
Why don't they have better transponders on these damn things?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
And they say they've got to find it within 30 days because that thing only beeps for 30 days.
Yeah, what do they got? Duracells running this thing?
I don't know. Send out a better signal or something.
Mm-hmm.
How many times we see these things crash in the ocean? It's just like, oh,
yeah,
needle in the haystack. Well, why? It has a transponder on it. Shouldn't it be giving off some transponding signal?
I heard someone saying something like like, can't we put cameras in these goddamn airplanes and they just automatically upload to the cloud? And people are like, well, there's tens of thousands of flights a day. That's outrageous. It's like, well, yeah, when they don't crash or something doesn't happen, just delete the footage.
Yeah.
But then on the off chance you have a plane crash, at least
Could be pretty helpful.
Could be very helpful. Right now, if there was just like a GoPro in the cabin and in the cockpit of the plane, and it's like, well, as soon as it finishes uploading to the cloud, we'll know exactly what happened. And then we'll know if some took place or if there was just some windshield wiper fluid that caught fire and set the whole thing ablaze. And then we'll know.
Yeah. We'll know if it swerved or not. I guess that's in question right now.
Yeah.
Saying there's a bunch of confusion. It was initially reported by the Greek defense minister that upon entering Egyptian airspace, the aircraft swerved 90 degrees to the left and then 360 degrees. We all saw that report.
Yeah, the loop-to-loop it was
Yeah,
doing.
and apparently that's in question now.
Really?
Yeah, Egyptian authorities are just saying, no, that's not the information that we have. Not that I don't know that it's relevant. I don't know. I guess it's interesting to think of that happening, but
well, I
ultimately, does that
think
help you figure out what happened? No, not really, right?
I immediately think of the people in the plane.
Yeah.
That are just, going
I
about
guess
their.
I'd rather not have it swerve for their sake.
Yeah.
Just
Would you
blow
rather
up.
Just blow up and be done.
And
Swerve to the left, then do a loop and a loop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather not do that.
But we know from from Lost, for instance, when that tail blew off the back of that
Amazing
plane
scene, huh?
and sucked people out the
It was
back.
similar to Alive, too. Remember that movie Alive?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very similar scene.
Yes.
Where people, are getting just chucked out of there.
Thrown. I think I know what happened, though, in this instance. Finally, there's some reports coming out from a couple Turkish airline pilots claim they saw a UFO flying over the plane an hour before the plane crashed.
There you go, dude.
They said the object, these are actual pilots. Okay, so for what it's worth, but this is absolutely being reported in actual media across the world right now. They said the object had green lights, passed by their passenger jet as they approached Istanbul's airport at around 11:30 p.m. Thursday. The pilots told air traffic controllers an unidentified object with green lights passed 2,000 to 3,000 feet above us. Then it disappeared all of a sudden. We're guessing it was a UFO. The Egypt plane crashed 500 miles away about an hour later. The General Directorate of State Airports Authority said it didn't find anything on its radars that could be linked to what the Turkish pilots had described.
That's really astounding.
Could you imagine if it was a UFO that did it?
Boy.
I mean, what would these guys have seen 30,000 feet in the air with green lights that disappeared in a flash? Like what?
Pilot listeners, can you write back in?
Dude, there are tons of pilots who have reported shit like this. Like some unidentified thing off their wing or above their plane.
What do you think?
Oh, I believe it. Hell yeah. I don't know, but it's interesting.
Hey, if Tom DeLonge believes it.
That's true.
Righty?
Well, I don't know.
He's the singer of your favorite band. He sings the words, so you might know him.
Such a fucking asshole. But actually, I do believe in UFOs. So
you believe in UFOs?
Fuck yes.
Totally.
Fuck yes. 100%.
Completely convinced.
You know what's weird? My
Loch Ness
mom,
Monster. Hold on. Let's move through.
No, that's not the same thing.
Sasquatch.
You know what? I don't even know what to say about. No, I guess I don't know what I believe.
Why not? Where's the line, man?
The fact that we have a just spit on myself. The fact that we have a humongous Humgorous universe, and the suggestion that there are not other life forms out there is ridiculous to me.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
When we sit here and people, this is another thing that always bugs me too. They sit there and they look at other planets or this or that, and they play. And they go, well, this wouldn't be, this would not sustain life. Well, it wouldn't sustain life as we know it. We do not know that there are people that don't need oxygen or whatever, or life forms. It's so ridiculous.
We do know there's people. There definitely are not people who.
No, there's not people that we consider ourselves people.
Yeah.
We do not know that.
I'm kind of with E on this one.
I'm
When you
not
look at
saying-
how gigundous Humgorous the universe is, I don't think it's I think it's naive to think there's no possible chance
When
of
people
life
sit
somewhere
here
else.
and-
I think that's absurd.
Right. I do I believe that this plane was brought down by UFOs? Do I believe in some of these, some of the bullshit, the crop circles, people say I've been abducted? I don't know about all that shit. I don't sit there
You haven't figured it all out.
No, you're right, Jay. I haven't.
But these reports from pilots are interesting to me. Like, it's one thing when you've got Billy Joe Bob on his porch and he's like, I saw that thing with the flashing lights come down, and you're like, okay, Billy.
They went a racing across my porch right there.
Yeah.
Get off my land, I said to him.
I screamed, go on, get. Fired my shotgun, and you're like, dude, whatever. Okay, that dude.
You have guys who are up in the air as pilots who are used to seeing other things up in the air.
Yes.
And they're identifying something that they don't normally see.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that it's some space alien. It's an unidentified flying object, meaning I don't know what it is, but it's up here.
Right.
Something's up here.
And like I said, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to. I'm just saying I believe in this massive amount of space. I think when people make fun of people that are like, what a moron, you believe in aliens? It's like, dude, there is no way for you to tell me there aren't other life forms or people out there. That's insane. You cannot 100% say yes or no. Yep. That's my biggest
thing. Do you know how big Loch Ness is? Can we for sure say that there's not a monster within there? It's enormous.
That's up to you, Jay. I'll say that there isn't. That's up to you, I suppose.
I'm not ready
It's enormous. It's incredibly deep. How can we say there's not a monster?
Nessie.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know how many woodlands we have in North America alone? Can we say for sure there's not Sasquatch?
Well,
or a family thereof?
I can't say
that's for you to decide. I've decided that there's not a Loch Ness monster, and I'm not really going to say anything about Sasquatch.
How about the Yeti?
I don't know. Whatever. Fine. I guess.
Fairies?
I agree with you.
How about fairies? How about fairies? You know
Fairies,
how small they are? Dude, fairies are so small.
You wouldn't even see them.
They could be living in your garden right now.
They're called fireflies.
You believe in fireflies, don't
I do
you?
believe in
How do we know they're not fairies, E?
I don't. You know what? I'm not going to go down base. I'm not going to go thing for thing on things that you're making fun of me about whether they're real or not. All I'm saying is what I do know, in my opinion, 100% is that there's other life forms in this universe.
He knows that for 100% certain.
No. I said there's not. I said we can't rule it out. Is what if I didn't say that right, that's what I meant. And the notion when people, like I said, make fun of people and just like, oh, what a fucking idiot. Yeah, you're a fucking idiot.
Where are we on fairies, guys? Seriously.
I'm going with no.
I don't know.
To be honest.
I don't
counting
know
angels? I believe in angels. Is that true? Jay, do you not believe in angels?
I believe in a higher being, E, and I believe that there's
where's
more
the
going
proof
on.
of it?
Yeah, E. You know what, dude? I'm not the one who sat here and said 100% certainty there's life outside of this planet.
I didn't say that.
You did say it, and then you retracted.
Okay,
and you
well,
tried
I said
to
it
backpedal.
wrong. I said it wrong then.
You're the one declaring what exists and what doesn't, dude, not me. I'm just listening. I'm interested.
Yeah, right. You're interested.
Gnomes?
Yeah, garden gnomes. I see them all the time. Those little fucking plaster things.
How do we feel about Bill Cosby?
Yes.
He exists.
He exists.
We're all on the same page that Cosby exists.
Seen his show.
Okay. He apparently admitted to sexual encounters with teens and having an ad agency send him models on a weekly basis. How fucking awesome is that? Oh,
yeah. What could I sign up for that?
that's the dream.
Just got a
right
deal.
there. Dude,
Yeah, I'll take another one.
like multiple every week. Just send them on over. Oh, that's awesome. God, money's sweet.
Yeah.
Money and celebrity is amazing.
Dude,
we need to get money and celebrity.
I know.
How do we do
what's
that?
funny? You don't
How do
even-
we obtain money and celebrity? Because that sounds like the ticket right there.
You either just need one or the other. And actually, dude, I was talking to a friend at work that has a friend that apparently he makes an okay amount of money, but not like a shit ton, but not in that range. And he's single, not married, so you can kind of spend it on whatever. And he bought one really nice car, and his other cars, whatever, and this and that. And dude, he was just telling me, he's been starting to tell me stories on Saturday about how when he wants to go out and just get a gold digger hot chick, he makes sure he drives that one out, puts the keys by his wallet.
What is his idea of a nice car? Are we talking a
Like a
Porsche?
Porsche.
Yeah.
It's an older
2001 neon.
Apparently, it's like a little older or not as nice, quote unquote. But these dumb bitches at the bar don't know.
Isn't it Porsche, by the way?
I believe it is.
Anyway, the point is not that you don't know this, but it was just once again funny to hear stories from a person who really isn't. You don't need that much. You just need enough to convince some idiots at the bar, some dumb gold-seeking lookers at the bar that you're at.
There's plenty of videos. There's all kinds of pranksters who pull this shit. We watched the one. Maybe we watched the one day where that guy, like,
kind of faked girls out.
Yeah, he would pretend to be kind of homeless, and he would just walk up to some chick sitting at a cafe who's hot as shit, you know, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you know, hey,
you're great looking.
Yeah, you're beautiful. Any chance you'd want to go grab some coffee or something?" She's like, "Oh my god, I have a boyfriend," and she blows him off,
Right.
and then all of a sudden a Ferrari comes pulling up,
and it's a valet or whatever,
and the guy gets out, and she's like, "Well," and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, and gets her number. She's like, "Hell yeah, let's go out. What are you doing tonight?" "Oh, let's do dinner." And then this homeless dude comes back around, and the guy's like, "Oh, hey, boss, here's your keys." And the guy fucking gets in the Ferrari, and she's just like, "That's your boss?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, that's my boss." And this dude hops in the Ferrari and is like, and she's like, "Hey, you still want to go out?" And he's like, "Yeah, you had that opportunity a minute ago when you thought I was homeless, not that I was driving a Ferrari. See ya, bitch." And she's left standing there holding her dick, you know, and just like, well, that sucks.
Great. And like I said, I know we all know it. I didn't need necessarily, but it's just funny hearing another story just this weekend about a person that I don't know, but someone I know knows, and just
Too
proving it
much
again.
time in the math room and not enough time learning the English language.
That's true.
So he's going to learn as early as today if his sexual assault case will go to trial. He admitted in those depositions, these were a part of the Andrea Constand depositions, civil case, exactly, back in 05 and 06. And he admitted that he gave Quaaludes to a 19-year-old, Teresa Saragnese, as I call her, Therese Saragnese, in 1976, and then he had another teen masturbate him with lotion. Jeez, that sounds awesome. The second teenager was one of 5 to 6 models Cosby said an agency sent to his studio each week.
Wow, man.
Every week, 5 to 6 models, not just pieces of ass. We're talking, you know, the creme de la creme.
Wow, Camille just living with her head buried in the sand, huh?
So buried. I don't care. The checks are rolling in.
That's the thing.
She's cashing multi-million-dollar checks a week. What does she give a fuck what this creepy dude
Because she's
is
doing the same thing.
Just keep making your dumb pudding commercials, asshole.
Right.
Keep the checks rolling in. He said a deposition that he would give the young women a very, very good meal first, whatever that means. I don't know. These new details come one day before he is scheduled to appear in a Pennsylvania court for a prelim hearing to determine if his sex assault case will go to trial. Did you give her Quaaludes? So this is part of the deposition. Did you give her Quaaludes? Yes. What effect did the Quaaludes have on her? Yeah, she became in those days what was called a high.
In those days.
We don't
days.
We don't call it high anymore.
Yeah, no one gets high now.
She believes she was not in the position to consent to intercourse. Do you believe that is correct? I don't know. How many years ago are we talking about?
I don't know.
1976. She meets me backstage.
I think that's the place in the deposition where you deny that she was unable to give consent. If you're Cosby,
you just go no.
Yeah, you go no. She was able to give consent.
Yeah. I think it's okay to lean on, dude. It's 1976. How many years? What is 40 years ago? I have no idea.
So you're going to leave that for her to fill in.
No,
Dumbass.
I understand that, but the idea that you would,
it goes to the whole crux of the case.
I know, but can't you just go, the agency was sending me 4 or 5 bitches a week. I was fucking all of them.
That's reasonable. You go, this is 1976, but I can tell you with certainty, I have never raped anyone. Everybody that I had sex with
but what if you
was
did?
able to consent. Then you're an honest rapist.
Which would be nice. That would be nice. You got me. Camille. He says, I gave her Quaaludes and then we had the sex. He was discussing the teen model, another one. He says the question is, she says that just days after she told you she didn't drink, you told her to come over and serve her amaretto. Do you recall serving her amaretto? No. On a later occasion, you had her masturbate you with lotion. Did that ever happen? Yes. It's like, fuck yeah, I remember that. She used the lotion to rub your panus and make you ejaculate. Cosby's response, bingo. No. Yes. He responded, bingo.
Bingo.
B-I-N-G-O. Nice.
Yes. Discussing a teen who filed a police complaint against him. I fed her dinner, gave her 3 drinks. We went to the living room.
I fed her dinner. It's as if, he's, hey, what?
Dude,
I gave her dinner.
I'm a gentleman.
Yeah, come on.
Took her out on a date. We almost went to a movie. We talked about even going to a movie. I fed her some dinner.
Quid pro quo.
We went through some acting elementary moves. He loves doing that too. That was his whole thing. I bring him over for acting. We then went to the sofa. Did she fall asleep? Yes. What did you do when she fell asleep? I got up. Did you engage in any type of sexual contact? No. Are you aware that the woman's statement at some point, Cosby, and then when we're sitting on the sofa, Cosby was massaging her back? Yes, I remember that. Cosby then lowered his pants in an effort to receive oral. In an effort to receive oral sex. That did not happen. I don't know. I could totally see him doing that.
Of course.
Press conference yesterday on Wednesday that Cosby made 2 failed sexual advances towards Constant before the incident now in question. The first time Cosby made an advance at her was after the two shared a meal at his house. Of course, he's feeding her again. And then they're sitting on the sofa. Without warning, Cosby reached over, touched her pants, her waist, and her inner thigh.
He gave her a good meal.
Yeah. What more does she want? Jesus, prude. She claims she then excused herself, went to the bathroom, gathered her things, and left because he touched her pants and her waist. So at that point, you know he's a creep, right?
Sure.
He's trying this shit, so you're done, right?
Here
you
she comes back.
Oh, what do you know? Circling back for round 2. What, the dinner was too nice, you couldn't pass it up again? Or you wanted him to extend your career in some fashion? Which was it? The next time he made an advance also occurred at his home. This time he unbuttoned her pants and began touching her. Once again, she claims, I left soon after. This is inappropriate. So good. We got that off the table. Now you're done.
Done with that guy.
Now it's happened twice.
Glad you were able to get away.
He's gone even further and undid your pants. Thank God you were able to escape with your dignity, your self-respect, and your vagine intact.
Probably not.
Yeah. She claims she arrived at Cosby's home yet again.
Well,
which is where you lose me. I'm sorry. The two spoke about her future. She told Cosby she was feeling drained. I'm feeling drained and emotionally occupied. Oh, how would you like to be in that conversation? Some skank idiot going, Bill, I feel drained and emotionally occupied. And
he's
he's
the guy
going,
who orders up models 5 to 6 times a week.
Yes.
You think he's going to put up with that shit?
Yeah. He immediately goes upstairs and gets the Quaaludes.
Time to drug this bitch.
Time for you to go for the nap.
Camille, bring me the lewds. We've got another one that's feeling emotionally drained. So he goes, she asks, oh my God, are these pills herbal? He's like, yeah, whatever. Sure, they're herbal. Yeah, down them, put them down, put them in your mouth now. He's like, he wants her to put them in her mouth now. She then told Cosby. Cosby then said, I have some wine. And soon after, she began to have trouble speaking and seeing. Cosby then told her to lie down on the couch, and soon after, he was fondling her titties, put his hands down her pants, and penetrated her vagine with his fingers.
He needs to be better trained.
Yeah. He also allegedly took her hand and placed it on his erect penis. Constant claims she woke up hours later around 4 a.m. and realized her bra was undone above her titties and that her sweater was bunched up. Like, Cos,
you gotta put
you gotta put the bra back on the titties and pull the sweater down. What are you doing?
Completely out. Just make it right.
I'm not giving people a playbook here, but I think rapists, this happens a lot where it's like, oh, my panties were just yanked to a side.
Right.
It's like,
yeah, I woke up from my nap on the airplane and my panties are yanked to the side with lotion all over me. Come on, rapists.
What are you doing?
Fondlers.
Well, once they come, they probably
they lose like that interest. That I understand that, but fake it for your own safety.
Yeah. I got to tell you, the bra above the titties thing, I've never been fond of that. Like, you got to get rid of the bra,
just
right?
Lose the bra.
It kind of pushes them down in a weird fashion.
Yeah, it does.
But if you're a rapist and you got to go back over it and send them on our way.
Yeah.
I get that.
I don't know. It's just so easy to pop that thing and then get it out of the way, yank it out of the way, get the sweater out of the way. But yeah, I don't understand how you leave it all bunched up and messed. And she wakes up and her tits are hanging out and her fucking sweater's a mess. It's like, what is she gonna think happened, Cos? He just doesn't give a shit. He's probably done it to so many chicks. He's like, she'll get over it.
She wanted it.
As she made her way to the door, Cosby's standing there in a robe. See, another guy wearing a robe. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, Bill Cosby in a robe. Nothing wrong with robes. Conclusion, nothing wrong with robes.
Just saying, robes are good enough for Cosby. They're good enough for me.
Here's what I realized. I will admit. I definitely don't have a robe. I've never had one, never wanted one. But I use hoodies as robes, essentially. I wake up, and if it's like cold,
Chilly,
I'll
yeah.
throw a freaking hoodie on.
Yeah.
Before I
See?
go downstairs and get coffee and stuff.
Yeah.
Hoodies are my robe.
Yeah. So you're just too cheap to spring for an actual
No,
robe.
I think just the whole robe up the hat, halfway up your thigh, and all that is freaking weird.
Oh, it's nice to cinch, and they're easy to get on, and you don't have to go over the head and put arms through shit. It's like
so
this
old
bulky,
manish looking, man.
When you're, on one of those early summer morns, you throw that thing on, you go out on your deck out back with a cup of coffee and sip away.
Have you done this, Mike?
Little nip in the air.
Are you a ward cleaver?
And just watch the young fawn walk
You're
up.
not doing that.
I've done that and gone outside and the paper's here.
Oh, paper. Oh no.
Sip on my little hot coffee. Ooh,
there's a nip in the air.
Ooh, it's hot. That's good. Delicious. Sit out there and thumb through the paper. Back when I would smoke. Oh, sitting out there with a coffee and
your robe. It's
spectacular.
Sitting in your robe with your dong hanging out.
Spectacular. This is the dream. Anyway, back to the cause. Let's see. So he's sitting there with his robe and he's holding a muffin, and which he handed to her as she left and said, "All right, here's your parting gift. Here's your blueberry muffin."
He thinks he can pay these chicks in food.
Yes. He prepays them for what's about to happen with a
Gives them
very,
a
very
tip
good meal.
with a muffin.
Yes. Cosby claimed she didn't ask me to stop at any point. It's like, yeah, well, she was knocked out, dude. What do you? But he can say that. She technically did not ask him to stop at any point.
Yeah.
He then admitted to giving her the blueberry muffin and some tea when she woke up the next morning. He also said that the two had petted and kissed, showing once again his age. We did some heavy petting. I petted her. The petting and the kissing.
Yeah.
And he liked the petting and the kissing, he says. I think that hurts him, by the way.
Well, he's acknowledging a lot of pieces of the stories, right?
Well,
and the only thing he's denying is the forced sex.
When you talk about tea and blueberry muffin, those are very specific details.
Exactly. And
about
she's able to
something.
tell it. He acknowledges it. And you're
Right.
like, oh, the only disconnect here is where she says, yeah, you drugged me and raped me.
Right.
But everything else is right down the line.
Yeah. So it goes to his credibility if he's going, I don't remember. And you're like, dude, you remember what type of muffin it was.
Yeah.
You remember giving her tea. So anyway.
He's fucked. Fucked.
I don't think he is, dude. He is in the public eye, which is almost worse than the court system. But so many of these, I mean, he could have to pay out, but so many of these are past the statute of limitations. It doesn't really matter.
Guy like that though, man, shit, he could have just everybody loved him. He was like OJ, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody loved him. Nobody
Yeah.
had a bad thought about the cause.
Yep.
Maybe thought, he's not all that funny. It's kind of how I thought, but whatever.
I liked Cosby when I was young. When I was young, I liked the
I liked the
Himself
Cosby
album.
Show.
Did you like the Himself
No,
album?
no. I like the Cosby
Go to the
Show
dentist and drooling and all that shit. I just remember being a young
I
kid.
don't like that whole lead up to the and Camille.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ennis. My boy.
Yeah.
Ennis.
Yeah, that whole my boy.
Camille. Yeah, he did a lot of that shit on the Cosby Show. A lot of that stuff was a part of the Cosby Show. Yeah, it'll be interesting, man. I for someone like that though, at his age, you just go, fuck it. I am what I am. I'm a pig. I got conditioned to having bitches whenever I wanted. I saw them as holes and playthings. Period. I'm sorry, I'm a monster. Blah. And then move to a fucking island somewhere. But you go, dude, I'm hanging out at the Playboy Mansion. I've got top modeling agencies sending me bitches multiple times a week. What are they coming over for? What are they coming over for? They're coming over for him to advance their career and for him to bang. That's the whole point.
Those are brutal facts when you hear over and over these chicks. Yeah, he did this. And then I came back the next day. I was
Yeah.
very troubled by it, but I came back the next day.
Yeah.
Hate to blame the victim, but
Yeah. He does sound like a rather selfish lover, though. Seems, you know what I mean? Like
Indeed.
a lot of times I came to and then, but I don't hear a lot of these girls coming to.
you don't. Hey, you got kiddies graduating from high school or college. You need the ultimate gift for your grad. You want to get the Parent of the Year award? Then stroll your parental ass down to Zott Ford and Holly and get your snot-nosed kid a brand new Ford Focus SE for just $15,400. That's correct. Your life burdens can drive one of the safest cars on the road. The all-new Ford Focus for just $15,400. Preview their championship deals and massive inventory at zotford.com.
Champion. I'm a champion. Nobody can do what I do.
Can you imagine getting a car, dude, for graduate, like a car as a gift?
I got Merck's piece of shit blue Lynx.
The Lynx.
Remember that blue Lynx?
I do remember the Lynx. You got that as a gift?
My dad bought it for me for like $500. I think it was
I guess
Merck's
you can
first
imagine getting a car for a gift.
Yeah.
Others in this room can't.
Did you know?
Well, that's not true. I guess I have, but I've never gotten but I've never gotten like a new car by any means.
By the way, the rat sticker is off.
Yep.
Huey Lewis remains. The rat sticker fell off.
All right. Huey Lewis is the one that's most sought after. I
Right.
think. See, that's bullshit, dude. That's not fair. You got lucky as fuck, got into a bad car accident, and were able to buy yourself a new car when you wanted. I didn't get so lucky
My
to get
face
into
was hamburger.
That is true. I would take it though.
You know,
I would have taken that.
dude, I would have taken that too. The wreck, yeah, my face is a little fucked up for a little while.
Yeah.
That sucks and all that. But dude, you got that sweet Jeep out of it with the
CD.
megaphone,
Yeah.
the CD.
No, I'd do it again.
Some of us weren't so lucky as to get into a bad car
Yeah,
accident.
so you
as
just had to have
children.
your dad buy you a car.
For $500.
It's a car.
$500.
It's transportation.
And it used to spit out like giant black clouds
And
of
then you
smoke.
totaled
too.
it within 3 weeks.
Something like that. Yeah, it was terrible.
Merck's mom drove that car for years.
Dude,
and you get
this-
behind the wheel, done.
This car, if you turned the wheel to the right, it would send out like an oil slick. Remember the video games where the oil slicks would come out? It would send out Spy Hunter. It would send out these massive black clouds of something into the atmosphere when you turn the wheel hard to the right.
Dude, speaking of weird shit like that, do you remember the gray mare, that gray pickup truck that we had at Aldingbrook when we were groundsmen?
Oh, hell yeah.
And remember that
what's
just
his
piece
name
of shit
would run over the frogs with.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I it used to backfire, and I figured out you could backfire it if you jammed it into park and then just started pumping the gas. Just pump the gas and then turn off the ignition, and it would just blow. It was so much fun, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
That thing was great.
Do you remember how I totaled that Lynx, by the way?
No.
I shouldn't be here, by the way. I should be dead right now.
Thank God you are, Mike.
For the record. It was at Gene's Hardware, and it was in the winter, and whenever it would snow really bad, back then it snowed a lot.
That was a crazy hill, dude.
That hill,
yes.
You couldn't see over, but they would plow the snow and they would just pile it up to the corner.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't see around it. And so when you pulled up to the street, it was like you're looking around this snowbank and it's like, oh, it looks clear. So I just went, and there was a car between my line of sight and that snowbank. And she came driver's door and boom, just barreled into the driver's door and planted me at 45 miles an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, the thing that if that was a truck, if that was a Ranger or something, I'm dead. I mean, back then, I don't even know if I was wearing a seatbelt. She would have crushed my door and crushed me. But she was driving like a Fiero and went under the frame of the car right at the driver's door and plowed and just caved the whole side of the thing in.
The Fiero. God, there were Fieros everywhere back then, weren't there?
Yeah.
The Fiero. Dude, they actually leveled out that stretch of road since then.
Yeah.
Because that hill was so bad. Remember in the winter, we'd stand in the front window of Gene's Hardware and just watch people scream over this hill, hit ice, and just go careening out of control.
Yeah. Is that where
that's where Monkey got hurt in his accident, remember? He was turning into high school, and somebody came over that hill and whaled him.
Yeah. There were lots of kids that got hit by cars too.
Yeah.
Like crossing that street. There were a few deaths, I think, when they finally leveled that off. But yeah, it could have killed me. It didn't, but it could have.
Thank the Lord.
Oh, it didn't?
Yeah,
I'm
it
sorry,
didn't.
you know what? I wasn't paying
I
attention
made
to the
it.
whole story, so I'm glad.
I was a fighter back then. I made it. I survived.
I'm glad that ended with a happy ending.
Speaking of school, a teacher that we talked about, I don't know, a year or so ago, she's married. She's accused of sexually harassing her colleagues last year.
Nice.
Calling them filths. Fathers I'd like to fuck.
Would it be DILF? Dad,
yeah.
Father.
DILF.
Father. Oh, father.
Yeah, father sounds
like,
weird. But
like does MILF stand for mother? Mother,
Mom.
I'd like to fuck.
No, you're right.
Mom, I'd
Mom,
like to.
you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I've
DILF
heard
is
DILF.
better.
I've heard DILF.
GILF.
Yeah.
Yeah, DILF would be better, but she called them filth. She resumed teaching at this Long Island high school this week. Cecilia Sanusian.
Say that 10 times fast.
Cecilia Sanusian. 52 years old.
Oh.
Yeah. She returned to Valley Stream North High School after 10 members of the social studies department signed a letter alleging she gave unsolicited massages and bragged about her sexual exploits, saying,
"Gross.
I give really good head."
Oh.
She claimed this to men in the department.
Shut up, Mrs. Sanusian.
Don't you think? I think legally the only response to "I give really good head" is prove it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean I think that's like
I'm not having the girl tell me
that's
that.
what she's looking for, right?
Yeah.
She's fishing for that.
Yeah. Even if you're not going to take it up yourself, I mean, you grab a random student or something and go, dude, prove it.
I'll
And
let
you make
him
her-
tell me whether you're.
Yeah. You can't just go around declaring, I give really good head.
Yeah, you can't do that.
She, so a teacher told the New York Post, it's unbelievable they would allow this to happen. It's a cover up of her actions. Sanusian has been permitted to return to the classroom after allegations surfaced last summer, prompting an extensive internal investigation. When you have every single person in an entire department sign their names on a letter detailing the problem, how exactly do you think that's unsubstantiated? So the problem was these two married dudes, Al Didino and John Brennan, they came forward with these accusations last year. Both of them
They
said
couldn't take the harassment anymore.
yeah, dude. I mean, come on, man up a little bit.
Annoying,
gentlemen.
yeah, but
I mean, kind of adorable. Take it as a flattering thing. Whatever. What is she going to do? Pin you down and blow you? No. Just
And even
laugh
if she
at her.
does,
Say, maybe if you were a little hotter, Sanusian, I would, but you're gross. So sorry.
she is gross, isn't she?
Yeah, she's kind of gross. I'm not done with the story there, E.
that's
So
fine. Yeah.
I think she thinks she's hot, though.
Yeah.
She's kind of got a fat ass a little bit. And both of them said the principal ignored their complaints. 3 of Sanusian's former students also came forward saying they felt uncomfortable with her conduct, which included rubbing circles on their back and making inappropriate comments.
Nice.
She reportedly told one teacher, I like to have sex more than my husband, and asked him if he wanted to take a shower at her home.
A shower? I just come home for a shower.
She was then accused. This is one of those.
Oh no.
All the candy you need is right here. She was accused of smacking her own ass, going, not bad for a mom.
No.
Sanusian. Damn it, Sanusian.
Imagine if some 52-year-old with a kind of a sloppy ass comes up to you and goes, not bad for a mom. You're like, oh, God. All the candy you need is right here.
You're right. It is the equivalent.
Gross. She bragged about breaking a rib during rough sex. She shared her experience of waking up next to a naked woman and not knowing anything about it. Like, oh my God, I just woke up next to this nude bitch. She also compared one teacher to a hot fudge chocolate sundae that students want to eat.
You know, there are people who don't want to do other things. You know, if you want ice cream, you don't go to a barbecue shop.
Here's where they lose me. Didino here, my man, Al Didino said, I had to see a therapist.
Oh, come on.
Shut up.
Due to the extreme stress and anxiety.
Shut up, Didino. Didino wanted some paid time off. That's
yes.
it.
After my interactions with Sanusian, to see nothing be done about it really hurt. It really upset me.
Shut up.
She created a toxic environment. I had to do something. I couldn't let this continue. I couldn't watch her smack her ass and say, not bad for a mom, one more time.
It was severe and pervasive.
Brennan came to his breaking point when Sanusian started rubbing his shoulders when he was sick with a sinus headache. I had a sinus headache, and she was rubbing my shoulders. I couldn't take it.
Dude,
I
it would be
snapped.
gross, man. You got this gross coworker. Like,
Yeah.
Sanusian, please just stop. I mean, it's not like therapist worthy,
Yeah.
but it would be fucking annoying.
It would, but wouldn't you just go,
Hey, Sanusian, I'm good.
back off. I'm good, and you're gross. Hey, all you got to do is tell her she's gross once. If I'm hitting on a chick and I'm just like, creep guy, look at my dick. And she's like, yeah, I would, but you're fucking gross, dude. You're creeping me out because you're just gross to look at. I'd be like, well, fuck you too. But I'd leave her alone then.
Right.
She's not into you.
99% of the guys, you'll get some that keep going, but most people go away at that point.
Yeah.
Sanusian seems pretty persistent.
That
though.
is true.
She does.
Maybe you tell her she's gross twice.
It might get her.
thrice.
Well, the problem is with someone like her, that
Maybe
might
you
be
pull
even
her in.
better.
Maybe you pull her and you go, hey, Sanusian, You're fucking gross. Okay.
Gross.
Stop touching me.
Your ass is a mess. You're not hot. I hear you don't even give that great a head. I asked my students. They said it's not as great as you think it is. Stop touching my fucking shoulders with your gross, wrinkly, bony knuckles.
That would end it, right?
Done. Don't do it again. I might fucking drop an elbow in your nose if you do. Sanusian. Now beat it. Get back to your social studies shit.
But what if she took that? Some people, like females,
he's into rough sex.
They take it as like, she might take it as a challenge.
Maybe. I don't know.
Like I'm definitely gonna.
Yeah, maybe they went that route and this was their last hope to report her to the union and so forth.
The problem with these guys is like if we're down here, right? And Jay's sitting there and I walk up behind him and I just lightly rest my dick on his shoulder. Like he might turn his head and as soon as he notices he's going, oh fuck, dude, get your dick off my shoulder. What the fuck's the matter with you? But then we're going to laugh hysterically about it for years.
I don't know about that.
For years.
Really?
That would be like, remember that time I dropped my dick on your shoulder?
Yeah, it depends on how you're doing
you got
it.
Me.
Just after you recover from your broken nose. Yes.
Okay, if you're describing it as you're doing
for
it
the
like,
joke.
hey, Jay, I got something to show you. If you're doing it
you
seriously,
just gently rest it
like,
on his shoulder for a second, and eventually he'll be like, what the
No, you're right. A clothed panous, I would. Actual unsheathed. No, it'd take a while, Mike.
It might, but
for
eventually
you to recover.
But eventually, for me to recover. Eventually,
yeah, we'd laugh about it.
That's how guys are.
Sure.
Guys do dumb shit like that and laugh about it. That's why these guys are like, I needed therapy. I had a sinus cold and she touched my shoulders that I wound up in therapy.
Oh my
Get
God.
over it, dude.
Seriously.
Stop it. Come on.
You're married with a family, go to work, whatever. Ignore Sanusian's advances. Is it that hard?
I could feel myself shrinking. Then I began to feel powerless. Then I began to understand how people feel who are dealing with sex harassment.
Probably felt tempted is what he felt.
Maybe. They're moving forward, though, with a civil rights claim. So that's why
there we go.
It's very important that you get on record that you went to a therapist.
Yeah, there's damage, man.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to prove some damages. So good luck to them.
Awesome.
Oh, Sanusian. Do you hear, dude? You keep wanting us to get a camel
or dromedary.
Yeah. Which one has two humps? Camels have one hump or two? I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
Dromedary's one. Dude.
No, I think it might be opposite, but anyway, go on.
There's a camel who bit off his owner's head.
Impossible.
Says you.
Have you seen the teeth on these things?
Yeah, they're huge.
Dude, they're
They have
not
teeth,
they're
right?
they're for chewing cud. They're not going to bite through a friggin' neck. This is an Onion story. This isn't true.
Well,
I object to the reporting of the story.
They say
I'm on
camels
record.
are. I've heard camels are actually kind of smart. They have good memories.
Okay.
And this son of a bitch was left outside, like chained to a post, and some guy owns him. He's like got an owner in India.
Okay. What's wrong?
And he was in the heat all day with his
you're a
legs tied
camel.
up.
You have a hump that can hold water. Okay.
Yeah.
You're built for this.
Yes. This
Dry,
is what you
arid
do.
regions
Mhm.
is where you live.
The owner was entertaining some guests at his house in India on Saturday when he remembered, oh shit, my camel is outside just chilling in the intense heat. When he went to untie the animal and take it to a cooler area, the camel became aggressive and started attacking him. And according to one villager, the camel bit off the man's head, leaving him dead.
Villagers lying.
The animal lifted him by the neck and threw him on the ground, chewed the body, and severed the head. Wow.
No way.
I didn't know that was possible.
No way.
Villagers also revealed that the same camel had attacked the owner in the past, and 25 of them struggled for 6 hours to restrain him.
The most they do is spit on you. They spit on you. That's it.
Apparently not. 25 guys took 6 hours to pull it. You know when you've done that with your buddy when he's like, hold me back. Hold me back. Like 25 of these dudes for 6 hours are doing that to this camel.
We're losing credibility as a reputable news source right now.
You think
as we're
so?
reporting on a camel murder.
They say camels are usually Gentile creatures and are said to enjoy sniffing at humans. Well,
Gentiles, as opposed to
gentle.
Jews.
Yeah. They'll even play with their hair. They do like playing with hair for some reason. They don't. That mouth thing.
Nasty old purple tongue.
However, male camels can have an aggressive streak and are known to fight with their counterparts. Animals that are brought up in captivity, they say, are usually bred not to bite despite their large teeth. Camels
Yeah,
usually,
they're large. They are, but they're not tearing teeth. I just don't see
They're
it.
like
Mike.
human teeth.
Just don't see it.
They bit a head off, dude. You're gonna have to
according
deal
to
with it.
one unnamed villager, quote unquote.
They say they usually kick in a circular motion, like they'll run around and kick.
These are the same villagers who believe a kid born with like a third leg is some monkey god or some shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true. They believe in witchcraft too. Lots of witches running around. They usually kick in a circular motion, but for some reason, they usually are very reluctant to kick humans. They want to be friends. But this guy left him tied up for so long outside. They're like, fuck it. What are we going to do? And they have to bite his head off. I don't know.
6 hours.
Bit his head off, dude.
He's built to be in dry, arid regions. I don't understand this Camel's beef.
I agree. Maybe he didn't like being chained. And he was like, fuck it. He finally got the courage up that day.
You're a beast of burden.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well,
you have a hump that holds fluid.
I know that, but for whatever reason, he got the courage up that day. He wasn't taking it anymore. He's like, dude, the days of me being chained into the backyard of this fucking asshole, smelling curry all day, fuck it. It's over. It's go time. And bit his head off. Sorry.
Okay.
Decapitated him.
Okay.
Picked him up, threw him, and bit his head off.
That story's still under protest by me.
All right. Palm Beach Sheriff's Department deputies entered the home of Travis and Robin Royale. They could smell the urine from the outside.
Ooh.
Yeah. What they found inside made deputies' stomachs turn. Thousands of cockroaches, piles of human feces, trash stacked wall to wall. What horrified him the most were the two young children sleeping in a spider and roach infested room with no air conditioning and no running water. But what they said the Royales had already lost custody of the children once in 2012 because of the home's deplorable conditions.
The Royale with cheese.
Over the weekend, officers found urine-soaked floors, a toilet that looked as if it had not been flushed in weeks. Imagine that. I've heard if it's yellow, let it mellow, whole spiel. Yeah. Imagine if you're just dumping on top of your sisters and your dads and your moms, like
where you can't even sit down without a pile of poo hitting your nutsack.
Yeah.
Oh,
yep. The couple lost their children again. The cop says, when I opened the fridge, you could barely see the bottom of the drawers and the shelves due to the amount of dead cockroaches, bugs, and cockroach eggs.
Oh, something about the eggs. Right? Isn't it worse when you talk about the eggs?
Yeah, because it means there's a lot more of them coming.
Cockroaches.
When I opened the oven, about 100 cockroaches fell down and began scattering. The oven was full of discarded food, appeared not to have been cleaned for years. They're facing a count each of child neglect.
They're using the oven, just trash can.
I want these people deleted. These are the types of people.
These Florida residents, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
The family released a statement to the Post. So they got their like family and neighbors and their dad to help them clean this shithole up. But this is the third time.
Oh yeah,
that they've had to call child services to come take these kids away.
How do you get two people, mom and a dad, who are like both okay with just squalor like that? Like you could see one person, one in the couple, just like whatever.
Do they have a job?
How do you get two who are just okay to that extent of shit?
Yeah, I don't
paying
know.
For this house? How?
I guess the family
having sex.
They released a statement to the papers about the condition of their home and the status of the children. We would like to thank our friends, family, and members of the community for their kind words and support during this difficult time. The children are thriving, safe, and staying with a family member. We are fully cooperating with Child Protective Services throughout this ordeal. We ask that you please respect the privacy. They don't look like your textbook.
Yeah. Skanks.
Total skanks. I mean, that's skankery to an epic level. That's usually the crazy old cat lady.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I missed how many cats they own too. Did they say?
No, there was no.
It'd be thousands.
I mean, I guarantee there's pets. I mean, you have to have at least 30 cats, a bunch of dogs.
You're right. They do have a normal look to them.
Normal enough. They look sort of clean.
Yeah.
Usually, I go back to the woman that was, her toilet was so caved in with shit. Like she had so much stuff that was the floor to ceiling that she couldn't get into her toilet anymore. So she was just taking bags, shitting in them.
A Meijer grocery bag.
Like a plastic bag, just holding it up to her vagine and butthole, shitting and whizzing in it, tying it off, and then whipping it up the stairs. And
this is the kicker.
The second floor and the staircase was collapsing on top of the first floor because it was so heavy with bags of her own shit and piss.
Oh,
I wanted her deleted. Like
Yeah.
that's someone who's done. You're done.
It's a cautionary tale, and that's why I've spoken out to you, Mike, about the conditions. I want you to be aware of what's going on. I just want you to be aware that we're headed down that road, Mike.
Dude,
you're not whipping shit up your stairs. I get
Really?
it.
I'm not.
But the level of
That is
squalor
embarrassing. What was so embarrassing was when they were doing that story too. I was sitting there screaming at my TV, "Fucking delete her! Just delete. You're not even human." And she's sitting there in her little chair, hunched over. She's just like, "Nah, I'm kind of embarrassed about that." They're like, "Oh, the fact that your second story is collapsing down onto your first story because of the weight of your own
shit
shit
bags.
and urine bags that you just whipped up the stairs and shut the door on it. Like that problem goes away now. Slam the door."
And she's like, yeah, I'm kind of embarrassed by that.
Oh,
just whipping it. Whip.
You can all
Imagine
picture
if it's like underhand, like horseshoe, or is it more frisbee?
It's probably both, depending on the day. I mean,
left hand, right hand. She ambidextrous.
I think she's opening the door. I imagine it
I
opens.
think I'm going
left
horseshoe.
hand.
I think I'm going horseshoe.
I think I'm doing
Frisbee.
giving a nice like frisbee style whip up the stairs.
Frisbee, you're more apt to hit a wall though. With the horseshoe, you're going right up the stairs.
Yeah.
The other thing is frisbee. You're going like there's a chance that stuff's coming
I'm
back
not-
at you.
Yes.
I'm not so much
You're going
going.
on splashback on this.
I think you
back.
got to go horseshoe.
I'm going like this. It's kind of a horseshoe frisbee. It's
A
kind of
hybrid. A hybrid.
It's a hybrid. Yeah. I'm opening the door and then just like.
But no, but look at
Bam.
right there. Any motion back, that bag could be slamming into you.
I trust my release point. E. I know when to release. I'm not
That's
going to
not what I'm
slam it
saying
into
though.
the wall.
You're going back.
You have to have a motion back in order to get it up the stairs.
But if you do it, but if you do it on side of you like that,
You can't just start here and whip.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to work. You have to aim.
But
You
I'm
got to
saying
get the
on the
horseshoe.
side.
You're assuming this woman is thinking about this in any sort of fashion. Like she gives a shit. I mean,
Yeah,
when
she obviously does.
that problem doesn't exist once the door closes. Like the shame, it's nothing but shame screaming down the stairs when the
No. We don't want to shame anybody. We don't want to put anybody on the spot. If it looks funny, we go over and say,
when the door opens, the shame comes screaming down the staircase. You whip more shame up to the top of the staircase, and then you shut the door on the shame, and you forget it's there.
Yeah.
It's gone now. You don't care anymore.
Well, clearly she's getting it up there because the upper level is collapsing. So
Yeah.
she's got a good enough arm to whip it up. And I got to go with horseshoe.
Oh, so bad. Oh, I
Either
want to watch
way,
that episode
I mean,
again. It was awesome. Oh, Hoarders. It's my favorite show
That's
for about
is
a
that
week.
still on?
I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
Did they run out of hoarders to
No,
report
never.
on?
No, if they stopped doing it, it's only because they decided to stop doing it. They didn't
Yeah.
run out of people to film.
Yeah,
doing
it's like,
it.
is Cops still around? Well, you know,
I mean,
they could
Biggest
film
Loser.
that for eternity. Yeah, Biggest Loser. These are shows with a no end date.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you see? I wanted to mention what's his name? Former Megadeth drummer died. Nick
No.
Menza.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he
How
did.
so?
He was on stage rocking out with his new band, OHB or something. OHM, excuse me. He was 51 years old, collapsed during a show in LA. I mean, I guess that's going out doing what you love.
Yeah, really.
Early reports are suggesting he suffered a heart attack. The band was playing the Baked Potato, a jazz club in Los Angeles, Studio City, actually. Megadeth frontman Dave Mustaine said he was woken up at 4 a.m. Tell me this isn't true. I woke at 4 a.m. to hear Nick Menza passed away on 521, playing his drums with the OHM at the Baked Potato. Rip Nick Menza, or Nick Menza rip, hashtag. Anyway, yeah, what a sad story. He took over for
Keith Bushy.
No, not Keith Bushy. He took over for, I believe, the guy whose mom taught my like choir class or something in
Practically
junior high.
related. I'm surprised you didn't get a 4 a.m. call.
Right? Chuck Beeler, who's from Livonia.
Okay.
was living.
His mom taught your choir class that you never attended.
Right. Well, back then I did. It was in like
middle
junior
school?
high. She used to bring Megadeth tour T-shirts in.
No shit.
In the class, yeah, because there's kids. She's like, she told us this story about how weird it was that Dave Mustaine showed up at her house one day. Was like, yeah, I'm taking your son, and I think he was going on the road to be the replacement for Gar, who was their original drummer.
You're kidding.
No, I wouldn't joke about that, Paul. To be his drum tech, but then he took over for Gar as the actual drummer of the band, and was on one album, I think, and then this guy took over, Nick Menza, and was with Megadeth for years during the like Peace Sells, Who's Buying, and
it's like there might be another opening.
Yeah, they've gone through quite a few drummers over the years. So yeah.
Chuck Beeler
wants to.
Chuck Beeler, watch your email.
Make a comeback with the band. Get back in there. I don't think they like Chuck. I remember I asked Dave Mustaine off the air one day. He came in. He was doing an interview. He's kind of a dickhead to talk to. Actually, he'd be tough to get along with. But I was asking him about Chuck Beeler, and he didn't. He was just kind of like, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I remember Chuck
Beeler. Yeah.
Remember Chuck?
Yeah. I was like, okay. He did not want to have a discussion about Chuck Beeler with me off the record.
Wow.
So obviously there was some tension there.
Something happened to it, man.
Yeah. So anyway.
Hey, we've got some email.
Do we? What do we got?
Well, before we get to that, we got to mention our buddy Mark Leibovitz of LPL Financial. How much money will you need in retirement? For most of us, the answer is not at all clear. Retirement does not have to be a mystery, however. Contact Mark Leibovitz at LPL Financial today to learn the answer to one of the most important questions for your retirement. Call today. Tell him you're a friend of the show for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. 248-626-2000 and ask for Mark.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
Rob writes in concerning episode 561. Which episode was that, you ask?
Yeah, I'm asking.
Well, it was the one that a certain emailer yesterday ripped on.
Oh, the John Denver episode.
The man, the legend, the thing itself. I just needed to write in to respond to all the haters of episode 561. The John Denver retrospective. It's total bullshit that people are seriously dogging the show, as it was by far the best that I've listened to since I started regularly listening 6 months ago.
Well,
I heard that entire episode in the Istanbul airport after a long week on business in Turkey. I got to the airport at 4:30 a.m. after only 45 minutes of sleep and suffering from a very bad decision to get adventurous for dinner the night before and ate some stuff that I doubt was actually food.
Ugh.
After waiting 45 minutes in line and fighting off a massive disaster in my pants, I found that the airline kiosk couldn't find my flight information.
I don't think this is leading up to me like a good, like all this stuff's going bad and you found it good. I don't know.
I was about to completely lose it, says Rob. That's when all of a sudden the happy sounds of Scott McKinsey and John Denver come on, and I totally cranked it up and my spirits were restored. Well, glad we could help.
So he was just a big fan of John Denver. And
it's like
and Scott McKinsey.
Yeah.
If you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. If you're
I don't know what it was, but between Country Road and hearing Eric was finally going to find his happiness with the Jacks, it was absolutely what I needed to get through the rest of my day, which included a full-body security search and the insanity that is called Charles de Gaulle Airport. Just wanted you guys to know that at least one of us got absolute enjoyment out of that show. I said good day.
Mm-hmm.
Notice he left Kermit the Frog out of there. Not sure how big a fan
I think
Rob
he was
of
tying Kermit into the whole
He had to have been.
Denver discussion. Yeah, he wouldn't purposely leave Kermit out of there.
That was a
no way
mistake.
And that's why we did a show like that, for people like that. So you know what? Some of you that hated that episode, you're just going to have to deal with that. We were looking out for listeners stuck in Istanbul having a rough day, and we gave them what they needed. So
you've got to look out for everybody.
Absolutely. It's not just about you.
Francis writes in, I dated a girl who mentioned her childhood ice cream man looked like Hulk Hogan a few times in passing early in the relationship. This was completely forgotten until it was recently mentioned on the Detroit Cast. When I mentioned this to my ex in a recent conversation, she was all too excited to share two very prominent stories of said ice cream man. First one involved, according to the ex now, two guys that the ex knew sold beige fish tank rocks to the Hulk Hogan ice cream man as crack.
What?
Wow.
No.
Hey man, you want to buy some rock? Beige fish tank.
No.
Those two also, one would distract him in the front of the truck, bang on stuff, and throw a fit, while the other one would grab ice cream and run.
I can see doing that.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good move.
Yeah,
It's a
not
good
sure
move.
I totally believe the crack one, but I could totally see
Oh, I
the
do.
distraction. Second story involves the ex claiming to have seen the Hulk Hogan ice cream man at the Gold Coast Gay Strip Bar in Detroit one night. So he's a gay crackhead now,
Wow, that's-
according to our listener.
Yeah. That's unfortunate if that's true.
Can
No
you
offense
confirm
to
the gay thing?
I cannot
gays or
confirm any of that
crackheads, but
stuff.
Crack is
Confirm
whack.
nor deny.
You can't?
No.
Brian writes in, hey guys, I just want to tell about an encounter with a news reporter recently over FaceTime. The wife and I recently got married in Vegas, and our photographer's memory cards with our wedding photos were stolen from a casino and resort on the Strip.
Ha.
Yes, our wedding photos. Looks like the photographer was pickpocketed between checking in the lobby and when housekeeping cleaned the room within the 48 hours they were there. The case that the cards were in looked like a wallet, so we think it was taken, then quickly pitched in the trash after no cash was discovered. Needless to say, it sucks and it doesn't look good for us, and I'm not counting on the photos ever being returned. Yeah, I probably wouldn't count on that. Can you imagine your nuptials not memorialized as you thought they were?
Yeah, that's tough.
Have to only go by memory?
What kind of wedding did you throw in Vegas, though? Was it one of those like drive-through wedding places, or
Yeah, good question.
you know, because if it's one of those like
You could go redo
in
it.
an hour,
Go redo it.
yeah, you pop into the Elvis place and,
Yeah.
and do that. Just go redo it.
But
Fuck
do you
it.
get a different Elvis who isn't as good as your first one? You're like,
Yeah.
ah, shit.
You could probably
Our
make
first
some
Elvis
calls,
was way better.
make that happen, though.
Yeah.
You could set that up.
Our
I'm
phot-
just saying, if it wasn't something where you flew in hundreds of people and had elaborate dinner, and if it was like that, then yeah, that
Yeah.
sucks. But if it's just some
Quickie.
little Whitechapel, whatever that place is called,
Go do it again.
yeah, go do it again.
Our photographer reached out to many of the Vegas local news stations pleading for help, and luckily Channel 13 News contacted us and wanted our stories. Since we flew home back to Michigan, the news reporters wanted to do a video chat asking for our side of the story. What got me pissed off was the way she came off asking the same stock question as you guys always talk about. At one point, the reporter asked us, "How are you affected by this? And what would you say to people who did this to you?" At that point during our interview, I was sitting in the
Mail-in.
back just pissed off as my wife is bawling her eyes out on camera. I really felt bad for my wife, but was completely pissed off at the news lady for not even really asking us a well thought out question on how we really felt. She was nice about it, but I couldn't help to hearken back to when you guys always say that the local news stations don't give a shit about anybody and just want, and this isn't just local news. I mean, this is all news, right?
Yeah,
Just want a web click ratings or a feel good story.
Yeah.
Bottom line, I should have been a complete dick and asked, how would you feel? Our story ended up making the local news and made their Facebook page. A lot of people have been sharing it, trying to help us out. Again, it doesn't look good, but we're not giving up hope. Brian's holding out hope that somebody's going to turn in the memory card.
Yeah, these local news people are looking to fill 3-minute segments at a time.
Don't
It's
give
like
a
just
shit.
they don't give a fuck about these people, what they're reporting
And
on.
the
It's
fact
like,
that his wife was crying was great.
oh yeah, she cried on camera. Awesome. We'll replay it again at 5 and 6.
Yeah.
But that's about it. It's like give me 2 quick highlights. Show me Cabrera's home run and so and so's double and fucking done with sports.
How about that water skiing squirrel? Have you
Have
seen
you
him?
seen that? Check it out, Chuck. Gather around. That's good stuff, folks. All right, we'll be back with a weather update after this.
How the heck did they train that squirrel?
Going to Vegas for your wedding? You won't believe the disaster that this one local family had. Coming up next on Local 4. And then they come back and
There's
do,
Brian and his wife.
yeah, there's Brian and his wife. They think that people actually give a shit about their story. And it's like, tell us your story. The reporter's just hearing this for the first time. Someone's handing a piece of paper with a couple bullet points. Brian Stacy, married Vegas, lost photos. Go. So tell me how this happened. How did you figure out that you lost your photos? What should other people do to combat this so they don't run into a similar trouble if they're in Vegas for their wedding?
What would you like to say to the people who took those photos?
Quickly, 30 seconds and we're out. Brian, go. And then they got to do some cute little out. Oh, That is just tragic. Such tragic news. Chuck, you were buried in Vegas, weren't you? I was, Bill. That's tragic. Our photos are still hanging in the house. I can't imagine not having them there. We'll be back after this. Like, oh.
Watched a little news in your day, have you, Miguel?
Just a bit.
Yeah, it's pretty much right on.
Not to harp on Channel 4. They just got our boy Jason Carr.
Yeah.
On Channel 4. I tried to track his ass down yesterday.
Yeah, he's hooked up in a new like social media role kind of thing. But like live on the set, but kind of like the conduit between people writing in and stuff.
He'll do good there, which is weird. You don't usually see people leave a job like at Fox 2 and then the next day, like he drove over on the set to like Fox to Channel 4. Like, here's my new home. So they obviously let him out of his non-compete so that he could go take this job right away. And
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, very cool. So I hit Dean up for Carr's number yesterday. I don't have his number. And she's like, oh my God, ask Ladaf. She doesn't want to get in the middle of that. So I called her a pussy. I called Dina a pussy yesterday.
Dina Santafanti a pussy.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is such a total pussy. It's stunning.
I told her that I wouldn't tell Jason that I got the number from her.
That's all you can ask.
She's like, call Ladaf. He has it. I'm like, oh, you fucking wuss. I actually called her a wuss, not a pussy.
Oh.
All caps, wuss.
The same.
Yeah.
Then finally, Linda chimes in. How about high school cops in terms of hierarchy of cops? I don't really.
I mean, they're real cops.
I only remember high school cops.
That has to be lower rung, right?
Yeah, you're in trouble for something.
Yeah, you did something. That's sort of like desk duty.
Yeah, you let someone blow you on the beat or something. You get caught, and now they're making you go to the high school. The only time I ever remember cops being in the high school was if there was an issue. If we
didn't have like on staff cops. At our high school.
No, never. We didn't have metal detectors. I do remember like, wasn't it kind of a big story back then? Like, they'd walk through the parking lot and just kind of randomly search cars or something, or like look in cars for shit.
I don't remember that.
No. Maybe I'm just thinking of another story that I was outraged about. Go on, get. But yeah, I don't remember that. There were certain times when cops would come to the school to give a presentation about something or a speech about something,
right?
Some say no to drugs bullshit or something like that. But yeah, I don't remember seeing them just around campus. So I don't know. Add it to the list though. What do cops feel about the high school cops?
By the way, John writes in concerning boulders. 256 millimeters equals 10 inches. He says.
Hold on.
Is that about right?
Yeah, it's about right.
It's about right.
So you're saying,
and then he does some stupid computation. 256 times 0.03937 equals 10.07872.
Yeah.
A boulder by that standard converting metric to a fractional SAE measurement would be just over 10 and 1/6 inches in diameter.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So a boulder is 10 inches in diameter.
Well, if you're going by that old math, sure. I mean, we're all familiar with that clearly, but I don't know.
E equals MC squared.
A boulder, pi, 3.14. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, centimeters, millimeters, the whole thing. I mean, it's all
tied together, circular, circumference,
right?
Diameters.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Algebra,
calculus. Trigonometry, of course, is involved.
Oh, yeah.
Trigs,
yeah. When you get the trig of it all and you get the centimeters, millimeters thing, mathematics worked out of it all, circumference times diameter, you throw in some pi.
Yards per catch.
Blueberry. Yards per catch. Yeah, that's good. And then
RBI.
Throw that all in the mix.
You know, you got the whip involved.
Yeah. On base plus.
Slugging percentage.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, we'll save the rest for tomorrow, Mike.
All right, cool. Well, have a great day, everybody. Thanks for hanging with the show. We certainly appreciate it. Continue to share it. Continue to donate to the show.
Use our Amazon link and shit.
Please use the Amazon link. Very, very helpful. Please continue to use it. You guys have slowed down on using that. I'm not crazy about that. I know Jay's not either.
No, for the record.
With that, we'll call it a day. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening, and as always, thank you, Detroit.
Couldn't you look at what you brought me?